thingy. We'll give everyone a minute to get all logged on, and then we'll get into it. Burp, 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 burp. All right, while I am doing thingy dingies here, that. Do that there. There we go. Hey, Mitchell, how am I feeling? I am doing okay, honestly, all things considered. I just got my ortho appointment for Monday, so we'll see whether or not the Mad Docs actually need to cut this thing open and install a power claw or not. But yeah, it's just kind of like super uncomfortable. And it's really awkward to like, because I mean, it's not like the whole arm is bad, but like you can't do any kind of like pushing force on it because that really hurts. And then any kind of like grip, like squeezing my fingers at all. So it's like really awkward to try to do anything. But other than that, feeling okay. Feeling okay. Let's get the, I'm going to get it pulled up where I got the comment section somewhere else so that I can do that and concentrate on the screen at the same time. There we go. On the screen at the same time. All right, so throw your questions at me, everyone, for Orktober. Is there anything that you want to see from any of the codexes? Is there anything you want to see from my collection? Anything at all like that, happy to answer them. Mitch, my wife worked in an ortho clinic, was telling me that your type of bricks, but yeah, that's what they're telling me, is that it's pretty nasty. Uh, yeah, so those of you that didn't see the video don't know what the break is. So it's the radius, so it's the bigger of the two bones in your arm, and right at the wrist here, it broke and it's angulated, so it's at an angle. I don't know which angle, but it's at an angle instead of straight. So the two pieces of bone, they don't want to like stay together because the break isn't straight. You know, it's, I don't know, like all cockeyed and crazy, right? It makes the bones want to like slip and not be together. So yeah, that part's really painful. Hey, Blissful Badger, good to see you, man. You've been knocking it out of the park this October, man. I've been watching all your painting. You got that whole chunk of grots done really, really nicely. It's been so I'm watching you paint while I paint, and then you watch me paint while I paint. It's like the circle thing going on. But yeah, I love the second edition grots. In fact, this is great because I can grab things and just show them to you guys. Where is he? Grot! Get over here. Ah. Ah, I got him. One grot. So for those of you that aren't old graybeards, this is the grot from the second edition starter set. So that was the first Warhammer 40K starter set after Rogue Trader. So the first one where it was an actual like an army game and not just like a fancy RPG. And in that game, it was Space Marines versus Orcs, and the Orcs had all these boys, which I've got a partial one around here. I'll go look for him next. With the cardboard dread and then these little grots. And these grots are hilarious because the gun is absolutely ginormous. I mean, that thing's like an Imperial bolter. But he's still like the size of a regular grot. Here's one. So yeah, so you can easily sneak these into your army or just do a whole squad of them. And shoot. Again, so hard to hold things with one hand. I'm trying to hold two of them here. Bear with me. I'll get there. There we go. So yeah, it's still the size of a grot, so you can totally use these to this day, totally awesomely fine. So if you don't have one of these, make sure you get yourself at least one to throw in your army. They're just super fun to have. Let's see. Camden, how we going? Crimson Chain, don't tell the boss, but I'm sneaking in at work. All right. All right. Shh. Everybody be sneaky. If you paint your phone purple, your boss can't see it. Mitchell's. Oh, dude, thank you, Mitchell. So those of you that are not on the Discord, you should get on the Discord if you are interested in these second edition Boys and Grots. Mitchell Marks, he is selling a bunch of them. He came across a good load of second edition Boys and Grots. So he's looking for like selling and trading and stuff. So you should give him a go. Where is that boy? I got one too, somewhere. Where'd he go? Where'd he go? Somewhere over here. Maybe this box. Ugh. No, not in that box. Where is he? Not in this one? I must have painted him purple. I can't find him. Second edition boy around here somewhere. He's missing the one arm because they are at the grots are like true monopose one piece. You just clip them off the sprue and put them right in the slaughter base like that. But the boys, the arm with the axe was all molded in, but the arm with the slugga you could glue on, and so you could glue it kind of at a different angle. I got one missing the slugga arm that I found in my bits collection. And I was like, I didn't even know I had them. But they got these really cool. The helmet has like the one horn on the top and then the two horns off the side, and they're very samurai looking. They're really, really tiny, like especially compared to the modern boys. But yeah, so I never had a second edition starter set. My first starter set was third edition. I did start playing in second. My buddy Warboss Dan had the full set and had everything. But I did manage to get my hands on some of the grots and some of the boys. But never the dread through the years. But then my brother, he's got what's left of all of it. So yeah, I've got one grot and one half of a boy. So yeah, I'll be getting some from Mitchell here soon, which is awesome. Daniel, howdy, big back. Howdy, Daniel. How you doing? Joe, hi, Lefty. Love to hear your stories of past competitive experiences. Heard you mention pretty. Yes, I was pretty hardcore back in the day. So this is my best general award from the Ard Boys tournament in 2005. Yeah, 2005. So played third edition, really liked third edition, but like played it in high school, and the first part of college. I played like a couple of local tournaments and things like that, but not anything like super crazy. It was like literally like a friendly local game store tournament, and that's it. But when fourth edition came out, I really liked fourth edition, and fourth edition is where I got super competitive the first time, and yeah. So when I did fourth edition, I was already. I think that came out, yeah, when I was already in the Coast Guard. So I was already like getting stationed all over the place. But we played it in the Guard. Like I got everybody to play Warhammer with me. But yeah, I started playing competitively. I played the Ard Boys tournaments, and back then Ard Boys was really cool. So you had like your regular store level tournaments, right? Any store could do a tournament anytime, wasn't a big deal. And then they had Ard Boys, and Ard Boys was a tournament series done by Games Workshop. And if you won a tournament, you could go to a regional. If you won a regional, then you could go to the nationals. Kind of like how nowadays, like win one of the opens, like Tacoma Open or Dallas Open or whatever, and then you go to the finals in Atlanta. Kind of a similar thing. So I had done that, and I won the regional Ard Boys up here in '05, and then I won it again in '06. So I've got the shirt from '06, I've got the trophy from '05. But yeah, I was super competitive in fourth. Fifth came out, and I had to switch armies. Fourth edition, I played. My competitive play was Dark Eldar, because fourth edition was all about movement and board control, and nobody moved and did board control like Dark Eldar. But the other thing they had, kind of the big secret, vehicles back then had armor values. They didn't have wounds. So like your Rhino, Predator, Land Raider, whatever. When you shot at it, it would have an armor value on the front, an armor value on the sides, and armor value on the back. And there were weapons like specifically designed to be like anti-tank and stuff like that. And then there was like damage tables and all these things. It was actually really cool, really immersive. But it actually made vehicles kind of a liability because people would take the dedicated anti-vehicle weapons designed to go through armor, and kind of like nullify them, neutralize them. So you didn't really take a lot of vehicles. Dark Eldar had vehicles that used wounds instead of armor. So that was the Talos. And the Talos was incredibly hard to kill because it had this high toughness, but all the anti-vehicle stuff couldn't actually like break through the armor, so to say. Because back then AP was different. AP was you either beat it or you didn't. So, for example, if you shot at a Beaky, if you shot at a Space Marine who is a 3-up armor save, if your weapon was AP 4, 5, or 6, nothing happened. They got the full 3-up armor save. But if your AP was 1, 2, or 3, it matched or was lower than the armor value, then you got no armor save at all. So, for example, Space Marines, right, Beakies, they're shooting with bolters, they're strength 4, AP 5. If they're shooting at a Dark Eldar, that AP 5 goes right through the 5-up armor save, so every wound was a dead Drukhari, a dead Dark Eldar, right? Conversely, if you were shooting, like a melt-a-gun, right, strength 8 AP2, and you shot that at a Beaky, at a Space Marine, it would go right through the armor and you'd have a dead Space Marine. But now you're like, you only got one shot with a melt-a-gun, right? It's really hard to do that. So anyways, the Talos was a 3-up armor save. And I think it was like toughness 7 or 8. It was incredibly difficult to kill, and it was only 100 points. So my army had 3 Taloses in it, and then just a whole bunch of Raiders and regular Dark Eldar guys, and I absolutely mopped the floor with them. Anyways, 5th edition came around. Dark Eldar became not a faction in the United States. It was really, really weird. They pulled them from the stores, the lore, everything. Like Dark Eldar just did not exist anymore in the United States, but not the rest of the world. And so it was really weird because like back then it was still like dial-up internet days, right? You didn't really get online all that often and know about these kind of things. And so everybody in the US just kind of assumed that, oh, Dark Eldar got squatted. But everybody else around the rest of the world is like, what are you guys talking about? Like the Dark Eldar are right there. It was like, well, because they only got pulled in the US. But anyways, Dark Eldar got pulled in the US, and I switched to Black Templars because again, moving fast, board control. Black Templars, you could take like this oath thing, and they would go crazy fast across the board, charge into close combat. Close combat was way more reliable than shooting, still is. And all sorts of fun stuff like that. Then I did the Black Templar through 5th. Toward the end of 5th edition, it started getting kind of wonky on the rules. All of 6th and all of 7th, and when I came back in the very tail end of 8th, I think I played like one game of 8th, and then I haven't been competitive since. It's just not what I'm looking for in a hobby right now. Like back then, I was a super competitive person. I played some sports in school and stuff like that, and those of you that know my other channel know that I like to race cars. So I was like, I play this game to go win, right? And I went and did all of these tournaments all the time. Like I played to win tournaments. Now the game is so different that it's more about, like back then you built armies, right? Because everything was a points value. Like you paid points per guy, you paid points per equipment. And so a lot of the strategy was in building the army in the first place. And then the missions were, I don't want to say they were simple. They were far from simple, but the missions were set up where controlling the board and destroying the enemy is how you won, not like holding random objectives or doing random things on these magic cards. So nowadays, it's a lot harder to win with actual strategy, like board strategy. You have to have card strategy, and I'm not a card gamer. If I wanted to do that, I would just go play Magic the Gathering. So that's why I'm not as competitive anymore. If the rules ever went back that direction, I would definitely get into it again. So yeah, that's the stories from, or some of the stories from being competitive. If you guys actually want to hear about any of the tournaments or anything like that, we can talk about that too. All right, let's see what else got said while I was yammering on. Me too, DeBoss. Definitely hard to be. Yes, yeah, Mitchell. It's definitely hard to be in the competitive scene when you've got kids and job and all that. Yeah, I mean, I worked full time until that, but yeah, it's busy. You got work, you got the four grots. I've been in grad school this whole time, so yeah, just lots and lots going on. Which so now you don't have a lot of time, and then the time you do have, I don't necessarily want to go spend an entire day or an entire weekend doing a tournament. I barely have the 4 hours to string together to play one game. Like I'd rather go play a game for an hour than 4 hours. So yeah, a big part of that. BC, holding objectives is more tactical, otherwise you're just running a gun line. Okay, so BC, let me clarify. There was still objectives to hold back and forth and fifth, but they weren't just random spots on the board. Your mission broke the table up into sections depending on what the mission was. Okay, so there were ones where it was quadrants, there were ones where you had like your line and their line, there were ones that had your line, their line, and like a no man's land. And what the objective was to hold an actual section of the board that had a tactical reason. So it wasn't just I'm going to this spot in the middle of the board because it's there in the middle of the board. It was you actually have to hold this area because you are the defender on like a planetary evacuation, or you need to go to the enemy's side and hold their side because you are the assaulting force. And so the objectives that you were holding made way more tactical sense than just being randomized. The other thing you have to remember is the board was not a standardized setup like it is today. Right now, there's like the 6 or 8 board setups, and it all uses the same pieces of terrain, like the big L sections. Back then, you and your opponent set up the board as part of the gameplay setup. But what happened is you'd set up the board, and then I think it was whoever was setting up first, whoever set up second got to choose which side of the board they got. And then whoever didn't get the board got to choose whether they were first or second, something like that. It's rusty. It's been a couple decades, but yeah, so the board setups were very, very different. So when you had like an objective to hold, usually it was like this was the actual building. Like you put the 4 corners of the runes on that like square of land, and you were holding that building. That was the objective. And in tournaments, they would have the boards pre-set up for the different missions, and it would absolutely be narrative style like that. Like the one that had so say the screen is the board, right? If you had the attackers were over here and the defenders were over here, and it had like this no man's land in the middle, they would actually have a trench section in the middle. And so you were holding the trench meant you were holding no man's land, and it would have like a trench over here. So that was really, really cool and really, really immersive, and also meant that like what you were doing made tactical sense. If that makes sense to you now. Let's see, got a little. Okay, sorry, little connection issue there. Hopefully, it didn't interrupt too much. Joe J, coming from the opposite direction, videos have been excellent for hobbyists like me, despite collecting orcs and students paint. I'm not sure I see myself playing much, if ever. Yeah, Joe, that's kind of where I'm at. It was funny. Warhammer actually did a survey. I can't remember if it was in White Dwarf or just in the Warhammer community, but they had done a survey quite a few years ago. I think this was even pre-COVID, on the percent of people that like collected Warhammer versus the percent of people that played Warhammer. And even back then, it was the majority did not play. Like not we're not even talking competitive, like just did not play period. They're like we like the little models and we buy them and we build them and we paint them and like maybe even collect whole armies and legal armies, but just never play a game. So you're definitely in good company with that. One thing I like to remind people is that you can play Warhammer solo. In Warhammer, you are always talking with your opponent about what you're doing and what's going on with the game. There should be no gotchas, right? There should be no gotchas. So there's no reason why you can't play both sides of the board and play solo. So that is definitely something that I have always done. So like back when I was playing competitively, I would set up the tournament games, I'd set up my two armies, and I would actually like try to win from both sides and see what it takes to do that. But I mean, even just like casual game, you could set up a little board, you could put 500 points on each side or whatever, and like you can have yourself a game. Obviously, it's a lot more fun to be social and have a buddy, you know, to play it with, but yeah, you can absolutely do that. Yo, Tiki the Hut, thank you, my man. I appreciate that. Gork or Mork? You know, as much as I love Gork kicking your teeth in from the front, I like the idea of Mork kicking your teeth in from the back. Like, isn't that how it's like put out there? Is Gork is the punch you see coming, and Mork is the punch you don't see coming. Like, I like Mork. Yeah, I'm more Mork than Gork these days, but honestly, they're both great. It's like picking a favorite man. Like I know most of my army is speed freaks and is like a kind of evil sons ish. I do red and orange instead of red and yellow, but I really like Death Skulls. I love the lore on them, and I love the way that like the blue pops on the tabletop. Um, I really like blood axes. Like the whole idea of like having crazy purple camouflage and like or commissar caps and stuff like that is hilarious and awesome. I really like freebooters, you know, the orc pirates going around and just fighting for whoever because fighting is fighting and it doesn't even have to be green. Yeah, so I mean, just about all of them. Like, I really do appreciate all of them. So it's one of the few factions in 40K that like there's not a bad thing. Like even the snake bite stuff, I like the snake bites. Like most of the other factions, even if I really like the faction, there are parts of it that just don't do it for me. Like Astra Militarum, right? I love Imperial Guard. Absolutely love Imperial Guard. You guys know that. They're probably my second favorite army, right? But I hate Cadians. Like Cadia is just so boring and so bleh. And like they had this chance to like, Cadia blew up. Like they could have gotten rid of Cadians completely and like made some other faction, some other regiment, the new poster boys for Guard, and that would have been awesome. That would have been amazing. And they didn't do it. Instead, we got Cadians with knee pads. They're just, so bad. I do appreciate that they're doing the Krieg. I very, very much want a Krieg army. That new battle force looks amazing. The combat patrol looks amazing. I've got a couple of the Krieg squads from Kill Team and a couple of vehicles, and that's it right now. But yeah, I will be selling all of my other Astra Militarum stuff so that I can do Krieg. But yeah, so when it comes to orcs, Gork and Mork, Mork a little more than Gork today. And then, yeah, I do like all the clans. All right, let's go back to... Camden, dang, fascinating. Definitely feels like a card game, but I'm just now getting into it. Yeah, so Camden, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a good game. It's just a different game, and it's the style of game that I don't necessarily prefer at the moment. But it doesn't mean that like you might not like it. And certainly if you're playing a casual game, you don't have to play everything that they say. I find that if you just use the basic 10th and a half edition rules and don't use any of the cards, so the primaries and the secondaries and the crazy mission pack and all that stuff, if you just kind of like run one of the games that's like out of the rule book or the White Dwarf or something, it actually runs pretty decent. It's more all of those extra things, the tactical objectives and whatnot, that just kind of make it card gamey. So if you don't want that, like just run a game without it. Also, the narrative games, remember that their narrative is a whole setup by itself. Narrative has its own rules in the rulebook. Narrative has its own FAQs online on the Warhammer community, and all of the codices have narrative sections in them for playing narrative. Narrative plays actually really well. That's why if I had been able to go to Tacoma Open this year, I was going to enter the narrative tournament and actually play the 2 days of narrative. Hopefully they come back to Tacoma next year, and hopefully by then I am able to do that. Because yeah, I would love to do narrative. Let's see. Taladell, thought your cast had swapped arms and then realized it's mirrored. Yeah, no, yeah, why is it mirrored on there? That's so weird. Why it's backwards on YouTube. In fact, I'm looking at, so in my camera, I've got the little screen so I can see what I'm recording, and it's correct on my screen, but it's mirrored on the YouTube that I've got on the computer here in the background so I can see the live chat. That is really funky. Let me see if that is a setting I can change. It does not say if I can change that or not. Well then. Okay, yeah, no, it is. This is my left arm. Here, okay, go around this way. There we go. This is my left. There we go. All right. The lawn's not going to cut itself. No, that's what I got 4 grots for. The grots are definitely doing a lot of work these days. Let's see. Just started getting a Warhammer with Kill Team this year. Starting to build for Big Hammer now too. Yeah, so I do have to say I like that you can do Kill Team now, and then even like Kill Team into Combat Patrol into Big 40K, even though the rules aren't similar at all, just from an army building perspective, right? You walk into the store, you look at all the cool stuff on the shelf, and you go, man, I really want to try this, but you don't want to dump, three, four, five, $600 on an army. You can buy a single squad of Kill Team and go play Kill Team, right? And so you build and paint the Kill Team, play a couple games Kill Team, you go, hey, I really liked this experience, right? I liked building these, I liked painting these, I want to take another step. Now you can go buy the Combat Patrol for that faction, build and paint that, maybe go play a Combat Patrol game or two, or a small game of 40K, right? And it gives you another stepping stone. And if you're still like, man, I'm really into these, then you go buy more stuff and get into big 40K. But if you don't, at that point, like, you're not out that much really, in this hobby anyway. And it's relatively easy to sell, right? Like, people are always looking for Combat Patrols, people are always looking for Kill Teams. So if you build it and you paint it and you're like, or play with it and you're like, that this faction isn't as cool as I thought it was, it's pretty easy to like trade that in or sell it off to somebody and then go with something else. So I do really like the new step up that they've got going on, and I especially like that they're coming out with more Combat Patrols, even if they are like kind of pseudo limited, which I get. You don't want to have too many SKUs and too many, especially big boxes in inventory, but just the idea of like, okay, if somebody's thinking about playing Imperial Fists, bam, here's a Combat Patrol, and you make as much of them as you can make while they're being sold, and it gives everybody that like truly wants to try that army a chance to do it. So yeah, hopefully I can get my hands on. I'm actually looking at 2. I want the Death Court of Krieg one. Obviously, like I said, talked about it a bunch on the channel. I like Astra Militarum. Most Orc players do. The Venn diagram of Guard players and Orc players has a lot of overlap. So yeah, I really want to do the Krieg army, so the Krieg Combat Patrol makes a lot of sense. And then, surprisingly enough, the Raven Guard for the Beakies. I don't know how many of you are aware, but myself, like every other Warhammer player of graybeardedness, meaning that you've collected more than one starter set or something, has a army of Space Marines in their closet that is entirely gray and has never been painted. So the largest legion of all time, the Gray Marines, I have a bunch of Gray Marines. The ones that I've kept and collected, though, are all the new ones that are like sneaky and weird. I like the Incursors. I like the Infiltrators. I really like Reavers. I think they're super cool with like the drop pack things and the like grappling hook guns and stuff. So I've got all of these Space Marines. They all have helmets and they're all sneaky and they're all like actually tactical. No robes, no capes, no things like that. So the Raven Guard box actually works really, 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 really well with what I have, and I can actually have like a 2,000 point army that is good. So yeah, if I get teeth for Squigmus and the Red Gobbo visits and the Kopay monster doesn't, those are the ones I'd like to pick up. But I like that it's an option for everybody. All right. Let's see. Get back here. Joe J, getting old. 2 special needs kids, 1 severe needs. Oh, man. I feel you, bud. Interesting thought on solo. Yeah. So the other thing is, I don't know if you've ever watched my Kid Hammer videos. So I got the 4 grots. and we play Kid Hammer. And in Kid Hammer, there is only one rule, and that rule is it needs to be fun. Okay, so you push little guys around on a board, you roll some dice, and the dice roll that they might need to do whatever it is they're doing can change throughout the game. That's totally okay. You approach it more like a DM in a D&D game than as an actual tabletop war game. The whole idea is the experience. Like when the kid is done, are they like, "Oh, this was the coolest thing ever. I immediately want to play again," or are they like, "I don't understand what just happened," and they're just done with the game. So playing Kid Hammer is a ton of fun. It's super easy to just push guys around the board, roll some dice, and you can make pew 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 noises and whack 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 noises, and have a good old time. But I feel you. Raising Grats is incredibly difficult. I definitely feel way more like a runt herder than a big mech in reality. But they are, also a lot of fun. So, all right, keep going. Hey, Sheech. First time catching the stream. Hope you help fast. Thank you. Oh, and hey, welcome to the Mech Boys. So for those of you that don't know, you can join the channel here on YouTube to be a Mech Boy, as well as doing it over on Patreon. Either or, they're the same price. But if you do sign up for either, shoot on over the Discord and shoot me a DM directly, and I will add you to the members only section. We got one little section that's just for the members, just for fun. The rest of the Discord is all free and all for everybody. It's just like a little extra as a thank you to those of you that have ever supported the channel like that. So if you're interested, shoot me a DM. We'll get you in there. Big Mac's evil mirror twin. Yes, you are seeing Big Morky Big Mac instead of Gorky Big Mac. Or is it Gorky Big Mac instead of Morky Big Mac? We'll have to figure that out. All right. Robin, happy Orktober. Thank you. Mitchell, hope 11th edition learns from AOS Spearhead. Yes. Yes. So AOS Spearhead actually plays really well. I've watched battle reports of Spearhead way more often than even 40k battle reports. That game is actually like legit. That looks really good. So if they change Combat Patrol to match Spearhead, that would be an incredibly good thing. I also want to say, if I had the time, maybe when I get done with school, I would love to get into AOS specifically for Spearhead. I think that, especially for that game, their Spearhead size is an excellent size where it's enough army to feel like an army. That's always been my problem with Combat Patrol, is Combat Patrol is a little small. Like, 2 squads and a leader is not an army, right? Versus the Spearhead ones, there's a little bit more stuff in there. And I mean, it helps that like their squad sizes are smaller and you can have more characters and things, but like, you know what I mean? Like when you are playing with more than 3 things on the board at a time, it feels more like you're playing with an army. So it's a great way to kind of get into factions. I would love to do Cities of Sigmar. Skaven are really cool. I mean, come on, they're our little furry rat brothers to orcs, man. Skaven, they build things out of scrap, and they all think it works, so it does work. Like, you can't not love a Skaven. They're like furry grats. But yeah, so Spearhead, really cool. AOS, pretty darn cool. Let's see. BC, little correction to Krieg boys that are planning on shaving their helmet vents and painting up steel edge. Yes. So BC, that's probably my thing too. So you guys all know that the OG Armageddon Codex and worldwide like tournament and play event was my favorite thing ever for 40k. I mean, it introduced Speed Freaks to the orcs. It introduced Armageddon Steel Legion to the Guard, including armored companies, because at that point Guard was infantry only. So having actual armored companies that you could play on the tabletop was amazing. Black Templar, which finally matched the artwork that was on the 3rd edition starter box. Because 3rd edition starter box, right, it's all these guys with close combat weapons and robes and crazy stuff. And then you open the box and it was 10 bog standard Marines and bolters, right? So you got these Black Templar that matched what the artwork looked like. And then Salamanders with all the flamers and stuff, which was just so honking cool. So like all 4 factions that they debuted for Armageddon were insanely good. And I love all of them. Like, if I ever did a standard Beaky army, it would be Salamanders, bar none. I really like them. They're super cool. The green armor with the flames, that all their skin is like, black and really dark colored and stuff. uh, the lore with the lizards and all that. They're rad. Um, I have Black Templars. I actually have a whole pile of them. Those of you on the Discord have seen me try to sell them a couple of times. I love that they finally made the minis that look like the original artwork, the John Blanche artwork from Third. But Black Templars players in this era are a little not my style. So I'm going to let them go and just kind of enjoy the artwork from Third and just leave it at that. But I do still love Salamanders. I obviously still love Speed Freaks, and I love Armageddon Steel Legion. So yeah, I will probably be converting all of my Krieg to Steel Legion and doing an armored company because that's what I really want to do. I mean, that Apocalypse box there, all those tanks, that's a real box that's still full of all those tanks, and I will happily make all of them Krieg tanks. Although I will admit, again, if I had like crazy amounts of teeth, I would buy all the new tanks from Horus Heresy instead, because those old school style like Lehman Russes and stuff just ooze coolness. They are so cool, and they match that aesthetic. But I would do that if I was staying Krieg. If I was staying Krieg, I would do that. But being Armageddon, I think we can use the OG stuff. All right, let's see where we got. Joe, you're my kind of dad. Good man. Heck yeah, man. We are all about the kids. That's so. Even though our channel says like not for kids, that's a YouTube thing. Because like if you make stuff that's specifically for kids, they get like really weird. But we don't like try not to curse on the channel, things like that. Like I know that there are grots that watch this channel. I know that there are people, families that watch this channel. You know, parents, moms, dads that watch this with their kids, that do Warhammer with their kids. They'll have me on while they're having a painting session. So we always try to keep it family friendly here. Plus, like, it's just fun. It's fun to do it with your kids. Like, I've done way more painting since my kids started painting. I've done way more playing since my kids were interested in playing Kid Hammer. Like, two of the Grots have played Shoot His Blood and Teeth all the way through at least 5 times. That is like one of their favorite games in the whole wide world. So why wouldn't I want to sit on the couch and play Shoot His Blood and Teeth with them, right? Like, it was amazing fun. They play Tacticus all the time on the phone, So yeah, doing it with the kids is awesome. So yeah, this is definitely a family channel. Will always be a family channel, even when my grots are big and off on their own. That's still what we're about here. Kids are the best miniatures. All right. We got some questions. This is great. Yeah, send questions. I want to answer questions. That's what we're here for. All right. Septic Soup says, Big Mac, do you think Nazdreg will come back in 11th edition? That is an excellent question. Here's why it's an excellent question. Those of you that are been living under a rock, 11th edition is coming out next summer, 2026, for sure. All the investor calls have said so. 11th edition is going to be Space Marines versus Orcs. It just is. All right. Trust me. It's going to be versus Orcs. The big push for Orcs right now is Bad Moons because of the unbridled success of Mordaka and what is it, War Bosses, and I forget the other books. You guys know what I'm talking about. The Mike Brooks books with Uthak Blackhawk, okay? They have been so popular, and they're all based on Bad Moons. However, in the books, the big characters for Bad Moons, outside of the main character Uthak, is the captain, right? So Captain Badrock, this guy called the Mech Lord, and that's kind of it. Oh, and then there's the Mad Dog guy. I forget who the Mad Dog is, but Nazdreg is not in there. There is no mention of Nazdreg. And when I did the lore video last Orktober on Nazdreg, we talked about how the newest mention of him in the Codex is that he had a Space Hulk, and it like teleported away and disappeared, and that was that. Keep in mind, Nazdreg has not had an official model since 2nd edition. So I don't think they're going to dig him back up. I think if anything, we're going to get the Mech Lord, or we're going to get Captain Badrock back, or possibly both. Or maybe even that Mad Doc. Basically, what you're seeing in the Black Library books and what you're seeing like in the video games and stuff, those are the characters that are going to be coming to 40K. The tie-in is just too good to waste. So, if he's not in the book, if he's not featured in the books, the chances of him coming back are like really, really, really slim. So yeah, I do not think Nazdreg is coming back. Because he says you don't even need to paint them. Yes, kids are the best minis because you don't need to paint them. Their points cost for their equipment is insane. All right, Tiki the Hut. I really wish Grotsnick comes back. Of all the Orc novels already, he's my favorite Orc. Yeah, the Mad Dog Grotsnick novel. Okay, all the Orc novels have been like, and again, not just saying this as an Orc fan, like saying this as a legit Black Library fan from all the way back to the beginning. I really like almost every one of the Orc books, and yeah, Grotsnick was surprisingly good. Grotsnick is definitely coming back. He's got way too much of a role in too many books. He featured heavily in the Gazgul book as well, and then yeah, got his own book. We're definitely getting a Grotsnick back. Shayich, I'd like a real Grot character, not just the Red Gobbo. Hmm. You know, I have a prediction for this, okay? So those of you that have been really paying attention to 40K factions lately know that every edition we get kind of a couple of new factions, one of which is like a rehash of an old one of which is something kind of like brand new out of thin air. Obviously, the Squats slash the League of Votan were one that popped out of nowhere and like became a thing. We also got Emperor's Children. What were some of the other ones that were like brandy new? Uh, oh, come on, brain. It's not working right now. But anyways, it's rumored that we're going to get Eldar Corsairs as a standalone army. Um, and like more of a range for them and stuff like that, right? So something like that. I can see Rebel Grots or like a full-on Gretchen only army becoming a thing for 40K. Now, I don't think they're going to be a full faction like Votan is. They're going to be like how Crew are to Tau. You can take a whole Crew army. It's not going to be very good. There's not that many models for it, but you could take a whole Crew army. I think they're going to do the same thing for Grots. They're going to do a Gretchen army at some point where you're going to have like Grot troops, Grots on like little baby squigs or something like that, or like dirt bikes, maybe a Grot buggy. You'll have the Killicans, obviously. Maybe Grot tanks will make a comeback, Grot mega tanks, something like that. And I think we will actually get some Grot characters. I don't think they're going to be named characters. I think it will be, like how there's generic War Boss, you'll have like generic Grot Boss or something like that. So, now this would be way down the line, like toward the end of 11th edition. This is not like coming out with the launch box or something like that, but I do think that Grots are coming. Kendrick White, is the CSM Battle Force any good, or should I wait for Primaris CSM? Okay, you're not getting Primaris Chaos Space Marines. All of the new Chaos models are coming out Primaris-ish sized anyway. So like the new Emperor's Children that all came out, they are much larger than the old school Beakies, okay? So what you want to do is just make sure that they are newer kits. So like all the Death Guard are new kits. They are amazing and big. All of the Emperor's Children are new kits. They are nice. All of the new Khorne kits are huge. Man, those like 8-bound and stuff like that, those guys are massive. If I remember right, the regular Chaos Space Marine Renegades are like the last kit from before Primaris, so they're still a little squatty. So if you're wanting to do like Chaos Unaligned, I would maybe wait. That being said, that Battle Force is actually a bunch of old kits. The all the demon engines in it are all old kits. They're all from like 7th edition, 6th, 7th edition. But they are good kits. If you like the way they look, if you like the way they play, I'd grab them. But honestly, personally, like for me, because I do want to do a Chaos Renegade army, mostly like cultists and things like that. But I love Vashtor, so like some demon engines and things. But I don't want any actual Marines in it. But if that's not what you're, if that's not what you're after, I would wait. Because yeah, again, it is old kits in that particular battle force. But Shayish is right. It is a huge amount of points, and it is actually a huge amount of dollar value because they are older kits. They really stuffed them in there. So again, if you like the way they look, if you're not going to be bothered by the fact that they'll be a little bit smaller than some of the other ones on the battlefield, you're fine. All right, where are we at? Let's see. BC, of the opinion that Orc gear works and that any sufficiently advanced Orky technology is indistinguishable from magic stupid Umi gets. After all, they're always praying their stuff works. Yes, that is true. Silver Scratches Built Productions. Hello there, Armageddon. Great chance to bring Angron as World Leaders Bear. So, those of you that don't know, right now, the narrative in 10th and a half edition is back on Armageddon, and it is chaos on Armageddon. We don't even have the orcs in Armageddon yet, but that's how 11th edition is going to launch. Is everyone's been fighting over Armageddon with this in narrative event for 10th, and out of a sudden, 11th edition is going to pop with the triumphant, glorious return of Gazgul Mag Uruk Thraka and the orcs to Armageddon. So yeah, Angron versus Gaz on Armageddon is definitely going to be a thing, and that's going to be 11th. I do love Speed Freaks on Steam. Hope it becomes conscious too. Dude, okay. If you don't know what Speed Freaks is, you need to go look it up right now. It is the coolest game that has ever been made for Warhammer 40k. It is like old school Interstate 76, where you drive around in a wasteland with vehicles shooting at each other, but it's all orcs. It is all the orc buggies, the custom booster blaster, the shock of traction, all that stuff, right? You can also drive a battle wagon. You can also drive a looted Lehman Russ, and they just added, literally, it was either yesterday or the day before, Def Coptas. And now you can fly around in Def Coptas. They even have Stompas in the game. The Stompas are like walking across the battlefield, and there's two of them, and they're like either having a race or they're trying to go at each other, and you're like trying to blow up the enemy Stompa. It can literally step on you and crush you. It is absolutely glorious. There's one of the things you can do, I think it's the looted tank. You can launch a Grot missile. So and it's like the old school Forge World one. It's a rocket, and you launch it, and there's a Grot on it, and your POV changes to the Grot, and you aim the missile with the Grot on it until it goes and kaboom. That game is absolute gold. Absolute gold. You should definitely play Speed Freaks. I played it a bunch when they had their alpha and they were doing a bunch of play testing. I played it a bunch on the beta when they were doing their play testing, and now that it is like a full-fledged game, I have purchased it, and it's on my Steam, on my PC. I don't play it. I should play it. Kind of hard to play keyboard things with one hand, but yeah, that game definitely needs to be on console. That game is fantastic. Bill, he lives. Yes, I live. Nurgle can't take me down. You think a little scrap's gonna get me? I'm way tougher than that. Let's see. Kaylee Evil. Hey, just want to let you know you inspired me to try some kit bashing for Orktober. Orc Boy on a Happy Meal Mario Kart. Oh yeah, dude. Orc Mario Kart would be fire. Wario Kart. That'd be sweet. Okay, I might have to nick that idea like a dirty, dirty Death Skull, and go get me one of those carts and put an orc in it, because that actually sounds awesome. BC nuts spoil things, but Demeklor is probably not getting him on now. PC, don't say things like that. Also, keep in mind, it takes a lot more than that to put an orc down. Just saying. I mean, think about it. Makari is a perpetual. Spoiler alert, if you haven't read the Makari novel, you should, or the Gazgul novel. Makari, every time he dies, he goes to the Great Green, and then he comes back. Orcs are perpetual, man. We can always. You know the saying, right? If we win, we win. If we run away, that doesn't count because we can always come back for another go. That's what they mean, man. Orcs are perpetual. They always come back. You can't get rid of us. We just come back to the great. We're fungus. You just grow a new one. So, you never know. Shage, God, bring back Grotix. Yes. Grotix needs to come back. And yes, Imperial Agents. Imperial Agents is the one I was thinking of. That was the army back from the dead, as well as Deathwatch. Deathwatch kind of came back from the dead too, but that was a little different. But yeah, Imperial Agents has not been a thing for a long time, and now all of a sudden Imperial Agents was a thing again. And man, if you wanted super cheap battle forces, those 4 Imperial Agents battle forces that they did were such good deals because they did not sell out, and the people selling them on eBay and stuff were selling them for so much cheaper. I did a couple videos on that, how you could buy, or no, it was three battle forces, how you could buy all 3 battle forces and have like a 2,000 point army for like so cheap. And not even have to run it as Imperial Agents. Like you could run it as Imperial Agents, or you could do like I think it was like you could do like a Sisters army with it, with like just their battle force or something like that, and then everything else like literally went into the Allies attachment. It was wild times. Let's see, Mitchell. I hope they make a model for Valton, the patient from the Grot Snake book. He was a pretty interesting character, and he's a beast boss. Yeah, that would be cool. You know, the Beast Snag is not having a named character is kind of wild. So it would be cool to get one for them, so that they would have a named character too. Orc Gene Stealer cults. Except for Orc Gene Stealers would literally only steal blue jeans. Like, those are the jeans they're stealing. The underpants gnomes. Yeah, Grot Snipers would be cool. You know, there was a Kill Team set that came out a while ago that had Orcs on one side and then Grot Snipers on the other. It was a really good Kill Team. Yeah, so Daniel, the Grot army, if you look at Age of Sigmar, they did. So first of all, there's already like a Grot faction in it. They've got the Iron Jaws, which are your regular orcs, and then they've got the swamp, whatever, the ones that nobody likes that were from Dominion, Cruel Boys, and then they had the Gloomspite Gits. The Gloomspite Gits are all the funny little goblins that worship the Bad Moon and have a bunch of squicks. They came out with another orc force that was all grots with the wolves and stuff. And so it was all like the wolf riders and the dire wolves and all the grots for that. And so there's actually two different entire grot armies for AOS, which is super duper interesting. So again, I think an all grot army coming for 40K is a thing that could happen. Kendrick, thank you. Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, if you guys have any questions on models, I know obviously I'm old Big Mac and we do all orc stuff here. I am super in tune with everything 40K, especially when it comes to models. If you have any questions about combat patrols, battle forces, kill teams, other armies, not so much like the playing them or the rules, but like buying them, which kits to buy, which kits not to buy, how you can get the best money out of something, definitely ask that. I am happy to answer any and all of that anytime. That's what I'm here for. You guys know when it's not Orktober, I do all sorts of videos on those kind of things. In fact, I need to do videos on the Christmas battle forces, and like, because I don't just go like, oh, here's the box, here's how much money is in it, like everybody else does. I take it to the next level. Like, how do you turn it into a 1,000-point army? Or like, how do you combine that and the combat patrol, and how well do they work together, right? So if you got any questions like that on any army whatsoever, throw it in the chat. Septic Soup, will GW ever make a Squig Totina's pizza roll flavor? No, and that's because Trader Joe's already does. If you go into Trader Joe's, they have a packet of ramen called Squiggly Noodles, and the squig part is like really big, and it's a red package, and I've been wanting to get it and like do a hilarious ad spot on the channel for the longest time and talk about squig noodles. So go get yourself some squig noodles. Kendrick, Saturnine Meganob is sick. Oh, dude, have you guys seen it primed? He's right here. Check him out primed. He is so zogging cool. So there's these little like exhaust vent things here on the back. You could orc up. You could put like some more orky looking exhaust pipes on them if you want. But the rest of the exo armor is like so kind of chunky that it totally works as orcish. And then again, this is the OG Rogue Trader era plastic orc power claw. But the power claw or the power fist that comes with the Saturnine has this studded cover over it, and it literally fits perfect. Like, those parts look like they were meant for each other. It was so wild. And then this side is just one of the custom shooters slash what are they? Combi weapons from the Meganob kit, just right under the arm. And then that is a head from an old school knob. Like, can't get any easier. I am going to be painting this guy. I'm going to be painting him Bad Moons because I really want to paint something Bad Moons. And then he is actually going to go in the display case, not in the regular army. But the second one of these I am building as my second Big Mech and Mega armor with the other, you know how you get the two options? You've got like the one that's just the three like power pole looking things. I've got that on the regular Meganob now. And then the other one has the three big round things with all the cables. That is the backpack I'm putting on this for the second Saturnine one. So I'm really excited for that one. As cool as this guy looks, he's such a different scale to Meganobs that I don't think like you'd really use it in the game. But for the Big Mech, I think it's just chef's kiss good. All right. Tony, 40K. Started a year ago. Orcs, of course. Wog. I love kit bashing so much. Have about 2K, mostly unpainted orcs at the moment. Really need to get some painting going on. Next unit knobs. Nice. Nice. Man, way to go. I love hearing stories about people that like got into the game and got into 40K and got into orcs and like immediately have this giant collection. That's the way to do it. Keith just got home. Hey, Keith. Welcome, buddy. Rob, can orcs come back faster than nids can eat them? Would an orc world speed bump a hive fleet from moving else in the galaxy? Yes. So in the lore, okay, first of all, we gotta go way back, way back in Rogue Trader days, before Tyranids were even a thing. All right, Gene Stealers were not even Tyranids, and Tyranids were, yeah, like they hadn't kind of made it all the way into the galaxy yet. But Gene Stealers weren't even Tyranids; they were different. Squigs were originally what happened when Tyranids came across orcs. So the Tyranids tried to eat the orcs and like take over, their biomass, but the orc DNA was just so good that instead the orcs took over the Tyranids and then just made these like little crazy monsters that ate things. And the orcs figured out that the Tyranids had these things and went, that's not okay. Those are orcs, not Tyranids. We need to go rescue them. So they went and invaded a hive fleet and stole all the squigs back and brought them back to the orc worlds and decided to raise them as pets because orcs were better than the nids and like didn't deserve to live with nids. So that was originally where squigs came from. That is not the lore anymore, but that was the lore in Rogue Trader, which was kind of hilarious, okay? But since then, there's been numerous times where orcs and nids have clashed, and orcs love getting into fights and killing things, right? But they get bored fighting Tyranids because there's nothing to loot when you're done because it's all biomass, right? So they kill all the Tyranids and they just die. And like, no Mad Doc is gonna, graft a Tyranid thing to an orc, like you. So they don't take anything, and Tyranids don't use technology. So there's nothing for orcs to lose. So they get bored of the fight and they just go away. Tyranids hate running across orcs because they can't consume the biomass. Like even in the modern lore, like they try to eat the orcs and they can't, and it like diseases the hive fleet in the way that like Nurgle does. And yeah, so they like try to avoid the orcs. Plus it slows them down so much and they have to put so many resources at it. So they're kind of like magnets, right? And so when you get the polar opposites and they like try to like push each other apart, they just don't want anything to do with each other. Plus, there's the whole psychic thing. So remember, Tyranids have like the hive mind, right? And they're all like synapsed into the hive mind that's telling them what to do. But orcs have the Orky Gestalt, right? Where the more orcs you have together, the bigger the power of the Wa is. And so when you get a whole bunch of Tyranids and a whole bunch of orcs together, all their psychic energy like bounces off each other, and they all get like raging migraines and stuff. So yeah, the orcs and Tyranids kind of but yeah, basically the Nids can't get through the orcs, don't want to get through the orcs, and the orcs don't give a crap about the nids. So yeah, it's really interesting. In fact, if you take like the Tyranid Codex and the Orc Codex and stuff, and you overlay the I don't know if this is still true in 10th, but it was true back in 3rd and 4th. The codexes used to all have a map of the galaxy on it, right? As centric of whatever the codex was. So the Orc Codex would have like all the orc enclaves and empires and stuff in the galaxy. The Imperial Guard one, or the Space Marine one, would obviously have the Imperium. But if you overlaid the Tyranid one and the Orc one together, everywhere where the Tyranid hive fleet split and like ignore a giant chunk of galaxy, that's where there was a giant orc presence. And so they kind of overlay really perfectly like that. So yeah, that's the story with orcs and nids. I need to get some red squig here from all the talking. So a little ad break. Those of you that don't know, this is the water bottle on our web store, redwunzgofasta.com. It is metal. It is not plastic. It's got a straw inside. It's actually really, really good. It is gigantic, so it holds a ton of water. And then it's got a really nice carry handle on it with a metal axle on it instead of plastic, so it holds up over time. This is my personal water bottle. I use it all day, every day. I bring it to the gym with me all the time. I can't say enough good things about this particular item. So yeah, if you're needing yourself a water bottle, definitely grab one of these. All right, moving on. Ad spot done. T the Hut, what is your favorite Orc Speed Freak vehicle, the newer 2018 ones? Oof. Okay, that is a really tough question. First of all, Speed Freaks is the thing that got me back into 40K. Like I said, I had been out all of 6th, all of 7th, most of 8th, and that box got released. And I remember staying in the friendly local game store. At the time, I was playing X-Wing really competitively. That's a whole nother story if you guys want to hear it. But I saw the Speed Freaks box, and I'm like, they made new Orc buggies, and the buggies are all different. Like, okay, I'm getting this. Even I'm not getting back into 40K, but I got to build all these buggies, right? So I get the Speed Freaks box, get all the buggies. I've yet to actually finish building all the buggies. I still have to do the Rekka Truck Squig buggy, was the last one, but I've done the rest. Custom Booster Blasta, the Shock Jump Dragsta, the Boom Deck Snazwagon, the Megatrek Scrapjet, the Death Killer War Trike. I have done all of those. They're all built, they're all painted, they're all in the army. I've even played games with almost all of them. And then I still got to do the Rekka Truck Squig buggy. I love all of them for different reasons. I love that the Rekka truck has the squigs in it, and then it's a squig launching cannon. And there's a literal like barrel of squigs in the bed. I love the custom booster blaster because it looks like a hot rod and it has 2 engines. I love the shock jump dragster because it looks like an F1 car or a top fuel dragster like had a baby with missiles. It's just super rad. I love the Megatrack Scrapjet that it looks like a Dakajet that crashed and broke the wings off, and the Big Mac just went, screw it, threw some wheels on it, and like the guy driving it still thinks he's a pilot. The Boom Deck Snazwagon was my least favorite because the box art paint scheme on it isn't the greatest, and I don't like the grot on the front. Um, Grots are useful. I mean, Orcs will be mean to them and do stuff to them, but I don't know. It just kind of it didn't really match with a lot of Orchidom of what they would do, and then also not just like the grot being on there, but the whole prow, like how big the front bumper, front fenders things was really really just awkward, especially compared to the rest of it was just this open roll gauge. So I didn't like the design of that one until I built it. Let me grab it and show you what I did. Let's see over there. Orkies. Oh, they're gonna. All right, here it is. We're gonna talk about it in a second. I gotta take a break. Give me just a minute, guys. I'll be right back. Behave. Org, I'm back. Sorry about the delay. Okay, so, uh, boom decks nice looking. I cut the prow apart into 3 pieces, and I used the 2 edges, the front fenders, to make the back fenders, which look way better, and just left the front bare because it's all detailed, and I like it way better, way better. So really like this one. I can't honestly pick a favorite. I once I'm done with the Wreck Truck Squig Buggy, I want to do all of them again, but convert them because you can kind of only mono build them out of the box. But what I want to do is convert them with model cars. So like I've seen a couple of these done with a 1/32 scale Volkswagen Bug that look amazing. So really want to do that. And then yeah, I would love to pick up like a 1/35 scale F1 car, but probably like 70s, one of the like really wild ones, like James Hunt's with the giant hood scoop way up here, and like funky wings that are attached, like, but literally do a conversion of each of them. So I'm not trying to like get out of this. I legit cannot pick a favorite. I used to have a least favorite, and now I don't. Like I love all of them equally. My favorite, the custom boosted blaster, was my least favorite one to build so far because the body, the 32 Vicky body, is 2 pieces, and where it glues together doesn't glue together well. And so the only way to do that and not have a giant gnarly seam is to like glue it and then fill it and then sand it. But if you do all that, you can't paint the inside stuff well. So that one was my least favorite to build. Also, the front suspension, where it connects to the rest of the model, there's only 2 points of connection. It's not triangulated at all. So it tends to want to snap in half right at the front axle, even when it's like glued to a base. So something to keep in mind there. So that was my least favorite to build. The Shock Dome Trax has been my favorite to paint. You can leave the wing off, paint everything, and then glue the wing on. And so that one's really cool. Plus, there's like there's a grot shooting the giant rifle. You've got like missiles on the top. You've got the Ork driver. It's got the like shock jump thingy in the back onto the engine. That one was really fun to paint. I think the Megatrack Scrapjet was a little tough to build, but not too bad. This one built really nice. I was surprised because it's so just exoskeleton-y that you would think it would be that like easy to build. You think it'd be hard, but it was actually pretty nice to put together. But I will reserve judgment until I finish the Wreck Truck Squig Buggy. Let me build that and paint that, and then get back to you. But I do love all of them. I want to do them again. All right, where are we at? Let's see. Man, you guys are just coming like crazy. You gotta catch back up. Okay, let's go. Howard's running a squad of rebase 2nd edition boys in tournament this weekend. Heck yeah, man. That's what I love about Orks. Almost every Ork model ever made is still like legal and right to play. You just throw it on the right size base and you're good to go. And even the ones that like kind of don't really exist anymore, you can run them as other things. Yeah, I love the perpetuity of Orks because it matches the real lore so well. All right, let's see. Looks so great with Pumpkin. Oh, yeah, you guys talking about the Saturn 9. Okay. Squig Noodles is my dog's next name. Yes. Squig would make an excellent name for a pet. Keith can paint Bad Moons like the OG ones. Yes, Keith. I am painting him Bad Moons like the OG ones. And I don't mean like modern Bad Moons. I mean like crack open a 2nd edition Codex Bad Moons. That's what he's going to look like. Really glaring bright yellow, goblin green base, the works. All right, see, also the Ork Beast Sang Boys Combat Patrol Box plus one of the Storm Boys is a great 500-point force giving. Yeah, so Tiki's talking about a few minutes ago, we were talking about that the you start off with a kill team and then you buy a combat patrol. It was like a great step up. The different combat patrols and kill teams that work well together is really awesome. But also like just a combat patrol plus a single box like Storm Boys play really nice. And one thing I've recommended is especially the forces that have more than one kill team. Like you buy the one kill team, then you buy the other kill team, and then you buy the combat patrol, and you put all 3 together. That's like a great starter army. But yeah, anytime you can add a box, so the Storm Boys, excellent box to add because they can do that like deep strikey stuff. Grot's obviously always an excellent box to add. So yeah, really, really good solid device there. BC, old school metal biovores were NIDs with Orc DNA. All of the old NIDs had some obvious other faction corollary. Oh, interesting. Tony, how did I break my arm? I was fighting another war boss for some good scrap. No, so I was running with one of my grots. One of my grots is doing track and field competitively in school. Went 5-0 because she's an orc, and orcs are the best. But yeah, so she had won all of her races, and she had the All Star meet at the end of the year, and she was feeling a little anxious for the All Star meet. Like, yeah, I won all my races, but like winning the All Star meet is different. And kind of finding motivation to go practice was hard. And I was like, well, I can't go run a competitive mile with you. Obviously, I'm old, but like I'll go warm up with you. So like, let's go outside and warm up stuff. And so we went outside. And her jog is like my all-out pace, and I tripped over my feet on the asphalt and fell, and all of my weight landed on my left wrist. And when I got up, my hand was like kind of like had this thing going on to it. I went, this is broken, and now I need to go to the hospital. So 6 hours in the ER, over 6 hours in the ER. They had to set it twice. Again, the break is angulated, so instead of the bone being broken like clean straight across, it's at an angle, and so the two pieces of bone keep trying to like slide. So they pumped it full of all sorts of stuff, and then set it, which is manual. They like literally just squeeze your wrist. Put the cast on it, took another X-ray, set of X-rays because they got to see it from like multiple angles. And it still wasn't set, and so they had to take this splint back off, squeeze it again, or no, they put me in this Dark Eldar torture device. So it had 5 Chinese finger traps. I'm sure there's a medical term for it, but it's literally what it was Chinese finger traps. And each one was holding my fingers, and then they hung a weight from my elbow, and so it like stretched my arm out. And that's what kind of got the bones to kind of go back in alignment, and then they put the splint on again. But I have an appointment with ortho on Monday, so we will deal with that on Monday and see if I need surgery or pens, or if they're just going to hack it off and give me a power claw. Septic Soup, do you have any of the old plastic orc buggies? Yes and no. So I did back in the day. I had some buggies, got rid of them. My brother ended up with most of them, sold a bunch of them. Didn't have any left. I had a couple last year. I gave some of them away when I did the Win Old Big Mex Orc Army contest. And then I also had like a Scorcha that was new in the box. I can't remember if I gave that away or sold that. But yeah, that went away. And so all I have left is I have one OG Orc truck that lives in the display case. There, we'll grab him so you can see. I got one OG Gorka Morka era Orc truck. So he's all that's left. But he is not the only thing that's left, because I do have the Gorka Morka bikes too. They're in my bike squads. I have converted them with, well, one of them is like all original. One of them I kit bashed with a new bike. So that, like, unless you know what you're looking at, you think it was one of the newer bikes. So I'm running 2 of the old Gorka Morka bikes in my army. But yeah, none of the buggies left anymore. The drivers on these are really, really, really tiny. Like, these are smaller than grots. I'll do my best to hold this up so you can see. There's the drivers. There's the grot in the modern. You can see he's way, way smaller. And then there is an orc. Look at how much bigger the orc is, especially the head. And like, look at the grot. So yeah, the scaling on these is just really off. So I don't want to run the off scaling. So no, I don't have any buggies left anymore. I would not add any buggies back in. If I did get my hands on buggies or anything like that, I would build like a 2nd edition / Gorka Morka legal force on 25mm bases, or the actual Gorka Morka oval bases. But yeah, I wouldn't run any buggies. I have thought about getting a buggy to convert into one of these buggies, which would be a lot of fun. So I might do that. Um, yeah, one of the orc buggies could be fun. All being said, Gork and Work told me that in the 11th edition launch box, which is going to be Orcs vs. Space Marines, it is a fast attack box. And in that fast attack box, not only are there new war bikes, but there is going to be a new generic war buggy. Rumor. It's just a rumor, but it's a rumor. Daniel, Boomdaka Snazwagon has the best name. It does have the best name. They're all good names, but Boomdaka Snazwagon is an amazing name. Tiki Quick, let's do all the shady. You guys weren't good. You tried to loot all, but you're worse than the Grots. Have you seen the videos? Every time I do a video, the Grots walk in and they just take my stuff because they know I can't just get up and chase them like normal. I am missing so many things now. It's ridiculous. Peanuts are neither peas nor nuts. Discuss. This is true. Good old coffee talk. All right. Zombie Prodigy, i.e. Big Mech. Dispana needs recommendations for a good kit for looting to get a lot of big mechy arms and legs to bash Killicans. You are going to hate me for saying this, but honestly, the Killican kit is the best kit to loot Killicans. Once again, I will show you. All right. This is a real Killican. This is a looted Killican. They're the exact same size. This is a GW paint pot. They just make excellent Killicans. But the arms and legs on these, they're so perfect for this that you every kit that you buy with arms and legs in it is going to be more expensive than the Killican kit. So you might as well just buy the Killican kit and kit bash Killicans out of Killicans. I know that sounds stupid, but it is what it is. Other options. There's the Necromunda Ambots box that has like 2 of them in there. Those are really good for it, but most people use those to build more like War Boss and Mega Armor things. But you could totally do a Killican. The new Horus Heresy Ashta Militarum robots, they come in 3 different sizes. There's one that's small. It's like the size of a Beaky. You don't want that one. And there's one that's big. It's like the size of a Death Dread. You don't want that one. Their middle size robot, and it's not called a Castellan. It's something different. It has good arms and legs for this. There's also like the 40K Mechanicus stuff that has the tracks in it, the little tank treads, if you want to tank treaded versions of Killicans. But yeah, if I was going to loot stuff and it wasn't just the Killican kit, I would go look at 30K Mechanicus stuff and get one of those boxes. Because the 30K stuff is sold cheaper than 40K stuff on purpose. All right, so you will save some teeth there. But also because the retail price is cheaper, it's also the game stores that are reselling online, they're allowed to discount them more than they're allowed to discount 40K stuff. So that's what I like. 30K to me is where you go for most looting these days. Because of that, you can get it way cheaper. OMG ponies. Shock Jump Tracks the kit goes a long way. You build it, cut it in half, and goes. Yes. Okay, so this was going to be an Orktober video before I broke my arm. But yeah, you get a Shock Jump Trackster model. You build the whole thing, and then you literally saw it in half. You get yourself a second base, and you glue the front half on one base and the back half on another base. And then the really good thing is you get an old template from back in the day when we used to have blast templates for like the rocket launchers and missile launchers and stuff. You cut the template in half and you glue it like rainbow style to the front and back half of the Shock Jump Trackster to make it look like it is coming in and out of the warp. So you get 2 Shock Jump Tracksters out of 1 box. All you need is a base and an old template. And I was going to do a whole video on it. I can't build stuff right now, but yeah, maybe we'll end up doing that one anyway. It's something I've seen online. I was going to loot like a dirty Death Skull, but it is a really creative and great idea. All right, let's see. Where are we at here? Keith, someday I'm going to build a squig buggy for real, but I used the back part of my woolly squig off, so I got to get another one. Interesting. You know, you could buy a truck kit to do some converting and kitch bashing and just use the truck's bed on your Eureka Truck Squig Buggy's bed. Just thought. Just thought. I think that turned out excellent. All right, cool. Thanks. Def Dread, some of the bigger Tau suits like Broadside and bigger Stompy Edmech robots. Yep, those are all good for kit bashing too. Could the grot from the Snaz wagon be used as a Pain Boys test subject? Yeah, so that was the other thing. The grot on the Snaz wagon, as much as it doesn't make sense on the front of the Snaz wagon, is an excellent kit bash fodder for all sorts of other things. Like if you were going to do your own Big Mac with shock attack gun and you wanted like a grot instead of a snotling, it'd be great for that. Or yeah, if you were doing like some sort of diorama with a Mad Doc, or you got like a Pain Boy, you're like you don't like the Pain Boy with the like Edward Scissorhands claws is kind of funky looking. If you're kit bashing your own Pain Boy, because the Pain Boy is supposed to have a grot orderly, like having the tied up one would be kind of rad. So yeah, he's a good bit for kit bashing. BGG Hobbies, a bit behind is out setting up for a model railroad show and air gauge railroad. Oh, sweet! Model trains fun. Playing Motley, been an AOS play for years, bridge to get 40k orcs the kill teams already had, the new combat patrol and other bits. Nice, nice. Yo, Mauricio, thank you. Much appreciated. Ashley, did a count of my painted orcs. 69 grots. Nice. 62 knobs, 1 weird boy, 1 commando, 1 squig bomb, 3 war boss, 2 killicans, 20 storm boys, 100 slug of chopper. Dang, 100 shooter boys. Dang, 8 big shooters. Very much green tide. Need to paint some vehicles. Yeah, that is a killer green tide. And you do have 3 war bosses, which is great. You need 3 weird boys to jump those guys around, or 3 pain boys to help keep some of them alive, and some sort of big mech for the shooty guys. Man, that is a crazy amount of boys. It's lots, and my pile of potential is lots. Yep, that is mine. We're not going to open my box of unpainted orcs. That would be bad. Yes, the Gray Tide. The Gray Tide is the biggest wah of all. We know that. OMG Ponies, model size matters less than you think. Yeah, no, it's not the model size. Like I like the old school truck. I like the old school buggy. It's the size of the drivers relative to the buggy and relative to all the other orc kits. They're just so obviously out of scale that even at a tabletop you can tell. And it just kind of breaks the immersion for me. So I would either use this only in an army where everybody is smaller and it doesn't break the immersion, or kit bash it with bigger drivers so that it does work. But that's what I was saying. If I got a war buggy, the one that's kind of rounded, I would use that to kit bash one of the new buggies with. Actually, use that old truck as a base for a record truck with the old squig catapult and big cage squig pin. Oh, dude, Sergey, that sounds cool. If you got photos of that, throw it up on the Discord. I would love to see that. So you say, if you guys check the chat, Sergey is saying he's got an old truck like this one that he made it into a record truck squig buggy. So he used the old squig catapult and then a big cage squig pin to hold the squigs in. That sounds really cool. OMG Ponies, I had some success looting the Necron Lord from the Knight starter set and Admech Cataphrons for can weapons. Yeah, so Necron stuff is hard because Necrons are kind of spindly and small compared to anything orky, which is kind of chonky and chunky. But if you get the bigger Necron things where it's chunky enough, they get really tall. So you got to like cut them down a lot to get them kind of stumpy. I've found in AOS there's the weird dwarves with the steampunk airships. A lot of their stuff is good for this because their struts and whatnot kind of look like legs and arms. But yeah, you want chunky and stumpy. So just think about that when you're doing your kit bashing. Also, an old boom deck of Snazwagon with the old metal Ludogans. That's cool. Mitchell, Thalax kit from 30. Is that what it's called? Is that the middle-sized robot? Is the Thalax? All right. Isn't that like Grot's, like an equivalent to an AI guide or Goop Maps? Sergio, are you talking about the Grot in the front of the boom deck of Snazwagon? Like yelling directions? You think an orc is going to listen to a Grot? We're not going to listen to a Grot. Grot tells me to turn left here. I'm not turning left here. Mauricio, what's y'all's favorite way to kit bash mechs? Dude, I did a whole video on that. Somebody link him the video. I can't link it while I'm doing the live stream. I did a video 2 Orktobers ago on building your own little mechs. In fact, because I didn't actually own the little mech. I just got this guy this month for this Orktober to finally complete my collection of little mechs. I kit bashed mine out of the Spanum Boys that are in the Ludoberna kit, along with the saw arm from the knobs. That's like my go-to. But I converted 2 different ones. I did a whole video on how to convert the 2 different ones, and then I did a different video on painting them. So that was cool. Tony, too bad the buggies are on such big bases in combination with their cheap points costs. There's not enough room on the battlefield. Yeah, see, that's one of those things with modern Warhammer that I don't like. The modern Warhammer battlefield is too cluttered, and the base sizes on modern 40k is too big, especially for the too cluttered. So you can't actually move anything anywhere. The older games where all the base sizes were smaller and you had to set up the terrain in a way where things could move through them and around them made it a lot better. Even if there was more terrain and a blockable line of sight, the ability to actually move around the board is more important. Sergey, not quite done. Got to get some old screen from Screen Door. Okay, well, Bud, when you get that thing done, throw it on the Discord. I want to see it. That sounds awesome. And yeah, Pain Boy is the base model. Works great too for the mech. For the mech boy. In fact, there's a lot of things that work really well for the base model for him. But you want him to have that custom mega pistol thing and the wrench. And remember that the option is the saw. In fact, you can see both the arms in there. There's the regular wrench arm, but then there is the saw. And the saw is way better on the tabletop. I don't know why they made those different weapons, but they did. Also, he comes with... Oh, he's just got the one pistol. Well, still, build him, you're going to end up with a spare wrench arm or a spare saw arm, depending, to make another mech boy with. So keep that in mind. There's already potentially another half a mech right there in that box. We'll just turn one of the Caradron Overload's boats into a Grot pirate ship at some point. Yes, Flying Muttley, yes, in fact. It is not out on the workbench. I'd have to dig it out of the long-term box. I've got a bunch of parts from one of those AOS Caradron Overlord ship things, and some pirate ship parts, and a Tau. It's the little one that has 2 Tau guys in it, front to back, like tandem style, and the little wings with the wings cut off. So it looks like a bobsled, and I was going to make the first Grot-Macon bobsled team out of it. Yeah, we'll see if I get to that one in Squigmas. Orky Submarine. Yeah, Orky Submarine works too. For your actual mech, do you plan for Killsaw Wrench? So, I converted 1 Killsaw and 1 Wrench. When I play, I tend to play them all as Killsaws, because the Killsaw is just better. And you know, proxying like that, you tell your opponents all of this unit are all equipped exactly the same. That's easy to follow. But you know, I'm probably going to build this guy though with the wrench, just because it is such a unique wrench. You can see it actually has a trigger on it. I don't know why, but I think that's really funny. So I'm going to build him with the wrench just to build him with the wrench. But yeah, then I'll have a saw still to use on another mech boy at some point, even though you can only have 3. If only they'd filled those bases up like the Death Dread. Yeah, basically a wrench and a snaz again. Yeah, exactly. Kit bashing a mech is super duper easy. Give him a little boss pull. A little one. He's not a knob. He's just short little one. And yeah, you give him some wires going to his gun and a wrench or saw. He's good to go. This is like the easiest character to kit bash. He really is. Oh my god, just because the orc doesn't listen doesn't mean the system doesn't work. Real orcs don't use it, but the mechs put it on anyways. This was entertainment or car horn. Except for he can't. His mouth is bound. That's the thing. He's not screaming. He's like, yeah, I don't know. But he's a good bit. He's a good bit. Keith, I use Necromunda Slave Ogre for a Big Mac. He's one of my favorite conversions. Oh, that's fun. Piranha. Thank you, ponies. Yes, it's a piranha that I'm turning into a bobsled. Hey, Jacob, how's it going? I have been yammering on for an hour and a half now. You guys got any questions? I've caught up to the chat, I think. If you guys got any questions, some questions. So far, we've talked about Gorka Morka buggies and favorite Speed Freak buggies and the Speed Freaks game. We've talked about Kit Bash and Kill Cans. We've talked about our Saturnine Mega Knob conversion. Ah! I'm breaking things. Oh no, he did. He broke. This is why not having two hands doesn't work very well. My gunner came off, so. Alright, I gotta put him in the fix-it pile. Use that ground to dangle a bit off the arm of a Death Dread. Oh, that'd be good. Actually, I think I want to stick him on a Stompa. I think he'd be really good on a Stompa. Blood Bowl Orcs special players are great conversion for Orcs. Yes. Oh, okay. So you guys know the Blood Bowl Orcs are great bases for kit bashing period. But yeah, there is a special player. Blood Bowl has these special characters that are a single character pack, and that special player orc is a fantastic war boss. Camden, do you have a favorite or best game of Warhammer I've ever played? Ooh. Yes. Yes, I do. This would have been either 8th edition or 9th edition. I can't remember which one. But Warboss Fred and I got together. Warboss Fred, you guys have actually heard him on the channel. I think the second ever video I ever put out was actually Fred's video. It was him talking about, he was unboxing a new orc kit. And I told him, I was like, I want to put this on YouTube. He's like, yeah, whatever. And I did. But that's Warboss Fred. Warboss Fred has a Speed Freak style army like mine. Very much Mad Max Fury Road that looks killer. They're like all black and then like, you know, the paint chips and stuff. And then he's got like a spot color red on them. So like the war bikes, it's like the prow of the bike is red and everything else is black. And they look so killer. He's got like this great faded green on all the skin and stuff. And then, you know, some chrome paint, witness me. Really, really rad stuff. Lots of 3D prints. Lots of burners. His whole thing is burners. Burners and scorches, right? So he's got tons of burning units. Anyways, we're going to have a game. And we did a narrative style game. And we were playing the full version of 40K. But it was our own scenario and winning conditions and stuff. But one of the house rules we did was the ramshackle, right? When your buggy died, you got to do the careen for free, and it was definitely exploding. And because the whole thing was we were fighting over Prometheum tanks, we were fighting over the field, we were playing Orky Mad Max. Well, anyways, we get playing, we're killing stuff, we're fighting over the battlefield, and we end up with this big giant mob in the middle because that's where the fuel tank was, right? And like almost our entire armies are surrounding this fuel depot, which is the fuel depot from the Octarius kit. And I can't remember who blew it up, but one of us blew up something, like Death Dread crunched something or something to that effect. And the response was, I'm not going to drive it somewhere else. I'm going to leave it right here. Because it's literally in the middle of this scrap that has our entire armies in it, right? And I was like, oh, like tactically, you could like drive over here and like just blow up one of us. No. We're blowing this up right here. And it blew up. And it blew up the thing next to it. Which blew the thing next to it. We daisy chained it. And it was like 6 or 7 explosions in a row of deadly demises of vehicles that were like just that close to being dead anyway, that like getting hit in the blast killed them. And again, automatically deadly demised again, like there was no rolling for it, like it just was going to happen. And we ended up taking out like over 2,000 points total between our two combined armies, and like 10 or 12 units, something like that, because it killed like all the boys that were around them too, or the boys that were in the trucks or whatever. And just all of a sudden everything was just dead, just gone. The middle of the battlefield was just a smoldering crater. And we looked at each other and we were like, we should just blow up the depot and like call it there because that was absolutely insanely crazy. And so our narrative was they fought, somebody lit a match, everything exploded, everybody died. There's just giant smoky crater. There's no more Prometheum tank. So there's nothing for the orcs left to fight over. And so they both hightail it out of there back to wherever they were going from. And we had to like get a new war boss because our war bosses both died. And yeah, it was awesome. It was super crazy awesome. In fact, he one of the unit, I think it was the original unit that exploded in that was his battle wagon. It was a 3D printed battle wagon. I ended up 3D printing another one like broken on purpose that I have in my collection that I still need to, even though it's been years now since we did this. But I was supposed to turn that into a terrain piece to look like the smoldering crater, um, like in memoriam of that game. That's how amazing that game was. So yeah, uh, house rule that every orc vehicle explodes when it dies, and have yourself a good time. That is definitely the most fun game. Let's see, Latru de Nagua, can't pronounce that. You want to need videos like that guy suggested in Discord? Yeah. So if you guys want to help out through Orktober, if you want to email me a video, you just take it on your phone, horizontal, um, painting something, your favorite orc, you got a little story, whatever, anything orky would be super rad. Email it to me. It's oldbigmac@gmail.com, and I will use it in a video, and we will have user submitted videos and like let's co-op this thing. Like Orktober is for you just as much as it's for me. You guys are doing stuff, let's see it. I'll happily put it out there. Conversely, if you run a YouTube channel like Blissful Badger, I'm talking to you, or Stank Shop, or any of you guys, um, there's now a collaborate button on YouTube. We can make a video together and it like hosts on both channels. So happy to do that too, and do some collabs with people. So yeah, if you want to film a video or if you got your own YouTube, like let's do this. Like let's keep Worktober going because that would be fun. All right, OMG Ponies, what's your favorite Beaky chapter? Ooh, okay. Um, Hard question. I like second edition through ninth edition Blood Angels. I love seeing them on the battlefield, the bright red, and then having the Black Death Company is really killer. And then you've got like the smattering of characters in the all gold, and then like having the wings on the backpack, really really cool. Um, but outside of Dante, I don't like their characters as much. Like I don't like the whole vampire thing. Mephiston doesn't do it for me, right? So Flesh Tears, I really like Flesh Tears. It's the same thing, but you have like this darker red. It's a little moodier. I like the dark red with the black and gray shoulders. They're really really sick looking. Plus the whole buzz saw with the blood in it is like a super rad chapter symbol. And then their chapter master. Oh god, what's his name? Man, I'm having a hard time remembering names. But yeah, but the chapter master for the Flesh Tears is really cool. So I really like the Flesh Tears. I like Dawn of War, the original. Like that game was my jam on PC forever. I still own my original copy, and it is still loaded on my PC today. Um, Love that game. So I really like the Blood Ravens. And then like later on, as the Blood Ravens became a meme, that they steal everything, that they're just dirty, dirty death schools, makes them love them even harder. Plus their paint scheme is really similar to Flesh Tear. So I really like Blood Ravens too. I've talked before about really loving Black Templar. The John Blanche artwork on third edition box set to me is still like peak Warhammer. Um, but you know, again, they've kind of been co-opted these days, and the religious fanaticism and all that is kind of weird. Um, but that original artwork style is very cool. Um, Ultramarines, Blueberries, honestly, like I never really liked them, but you guys know Beskrat has a massive army of them that he's done, and it's been a lot of fun. And I painted Gilliman for him. That I gotta admit, it was pretty darn cool. And if you like special characters, they're really rad. Marty's Calgar, all of his different iterations are awesome. The brand new one that they just announced in the Terminator armor is just sick. It's so cool. Chief Librarian Tigurius is really cool, and then all the other like little special characters. Like there was like Sergeant Kronos that was like you could get a figure of him both like in the turret of the Rhino or whatever, or like on foot. And then there was like Sergeant Talion for the scouts. Like there was a special character for everything. It was really cool. So, Ultramarines can be kind of cool. I didn't like them in like second and third edition when they had, I'm gonna say yellow on their pauldrons, but obviously back then it was the trim color was different depending on which company you were, right? First company was white, second company was red, third company was yellow. So all the Ultramarines that had like the yellow, they were really just in third company. And there was like purple and green and black and all that. I was not a fan of that, either all of the colors or the yellow. I didn't like any of that. But in fourth edition, when Ultramarines were on the cover for the first time, that was the other thing. Remember, Ultramarines were never the banner of Space Marines until fourth edition. Second edition, it was Blood Angels. Third edition, it was Black Templar. Ultramarines weren't even a thing. Fourth edition, Ultramarines are on the cover of the Codex, and suddenly they were blue and gold, and that was cool. That was sick. I really liked the blue and gold. I liked it so much that I actually did a Tau army in blue and gold. I just like took the paint scheme and put it on Tau instead. That turned out really sick. I sold that a long time ago. But anyways, Crimson Fist, super rad, especially because like they hate the orcs and everything that like orcs invading their homeworld, Rin's world, and like destroying it and all that stuff. And yeah, their paint scheme is super, super rad with that dark blue, and then having the maroon fists is just so cool. Um, I really like the way Raven Guard play. I don't like their characters, like being the crow and being some like moody guy up on a top of a building. Just doesn't do it for me. But the actual chapter is really cool. Iron Hands, I love the models, but again, the lore is just kind of eh. Like, oh, it's like Mechanicus, but Marines, yay. Um, so overall best would probably have to be Salamanders. A couple of reasons. I was super into Legion of the Damned. I had my first Space Marine army was actually a Legion of the Damned army because you buy like the metal ones and the flames were like molded onto them. And yeah, you paint them like hot rod black and then you paint all these orange flames on them, right? You guys know I like my flames. I got flames on like almost all my orcs, right? So black with the flames is really cool, and then the skulls and stuff. And then yeah, Salamanders coming out in the Armageddon campaign and being green, which I really like the Dark Angels paint scheme thing, where like regular Dark Angels are green, and then Death Company was white or Deathwing, and then Ravenwing was black. I think is just sick. It is so cool. I hate all the robes, and I hate all the iconography, and I hate all of the characters other than the lion. The lion's legit, but yeah. But I really like that idea of like bog standard guys one color, elite guys are a different color, fast attack guys are a different color, but like it works all together. Like you had green trim on the white guys, you had green trim on the black guys, and then there was like a little bit of red on everybody. I really like that idea. So like I love Green Marines, I love Flames, um, I love everything Armageddon. So right, Salamanders has all that. They're green, they got flames, they were in Armageddon. I like that their lore is really cool and different. I like that for the longest time they didn't have a successor chapter, and that successor chapters for them are really rare. I think that's pretty cool. Um, I think their characters are actually kind of neat, like both models and lore wise. So overall, probably Salamanders. Um, all that being said, my own personal gray Space Marine army is going to be my own thing, and I haven't decided which chapter they are going to be a successor to yet. I'm leaning toward Raven Guard, just because that's what like all my units are. But I might do something totally different. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, overall favorite probably Salamanders, but lots of ones I really like in there. Let's see. Orc special player is really cheap to pay like $13 to. Yeah, Vara Goldschur. Rewind a couple minutes. The special player for Blood Bowl for the Orcs name is Varag Goldchuler. Chewer. He is really cheap, especially online. You again, Blood Bowl, Necromunda, um, Horus Heresy, all of those. So Games Workshop, when you sign up to be a retailer for them, they give you price lists, and you are not allowed to discount more than a certain amount per price list. Okay, and 40K stuff, I believe, is I think it's like 15%. You cannot sell it for less than 15% off unless Games Workshop specifically gives you permission to. A long time. So like earlier we were talking about the Agents of the Imperium, those three battle forces. Those got overproduced, and Games Workshop allowed stores to sell them for cheaper than the 15% off. It was the only reason why they got so cheap. So 40K has the tightest percent off, plus has the highest prices. All of the other games are priced cheaper on purpose because the whole idea is you walk into the Warhammer store, everybody knows 40K, but 40K is too expensive. They have all these other games that are a lower price point. They're also allowed to mark them down more. Blood Bowl has one of the biggest markdowns allowed. That's why, like, I tried looting Blood Bowl orcs for the Breaka Boys before, or the Wrecka Crew kit, before we looked at Old Boys, because there were 6 in a box. And it's like, oh, this would be great. But they were like way too big, didn't work. But yeah, super duper discounted. So that special player is really good for that and is discounted. In fact, my Imperial Guard army, I have a Lord Solar in it. And this is back before the Lord Solar was a horse. He was a guy. My Lord Solar is the special player from the Empire. I don't know if it's Empire or if it's one of the other. It's not Bretonnian, but there's another one. The other humans that aren't Empire or Bretonnian. Maybe it was like one of the little sub-empires. But anyways, it was a special character. He's got like this huge plumed hat. I picked him up to be my Lord Solar. He's fantastic for us. So yeah, the special players from Blood Bowl, excellent pickups. When I play orcs, I pray to Gork and Mark the Deadly Demise happens. I really wish that Deadly Demise like literally was an all the time thing for orcs. Period, no matter what. I just think that would be way more on point. Like Crimson Fist, yeah, I like Crimson Fist too, man. Crimson Fists are cool. Super disappointed when GW changed Gun Wagons to Deadly Demise again 4+ for a huge amount of damage. I loved when things blew up more for reasons. I'm not sure if Scorch ever did this, but I definitely remember Astra Militar Imperial Guard. I remember Imperial Guard back in the day because my cousin had a Catachan army and he had a Hellhound. And the Hellhound and a Chimera and a Lehman Russ. When the Chimera, the Lehman Russ blew up, it did a certain amount of damage, and you usually survive it. When the Hellhound blew up, it absolutely roasted everybody. But I loved that because that's so accurate to real life, right? Obviously, if you blow up a giant flamethrower tank that has, fuel tanks full of promethium, it's gonna kill a lot more things around it than if you just hit a regular APC. So yeah, I really wish they'd go back to something like that. Did I play Dawn of War Definitive Edition that just got released a month or two ago? So no, I haven't played Definitive Edition yet. There is no gameplay difference from what I'm being told from original Dawn of War and Definitive. The whole point of Definitive is that it allows mods. So you can get in there and you can modify it and change it and code write it and stuff like that for people that are into that kind of thing. I used to be way back in the day. Those skills have been gone for 20 years. But I think it's really cool that they did that. If they had released anything new in it, I would have bought it. But I already own Dawn of War 1 and 2 and 3 on the original CDs. And I still have them, and I can still just pop them in and play them whenever I want. So there was no point in buying it again. And I know like 2 and 3 get a lot of hate. But 2 was actually pretty darn good. 3 sucked. But 2 was not bad. 2 was not bad. I do like that they did kind of update the graphics and stuff. Like I did think about that a little bit. I might still pick it up. Tony, recently started a crusade with my brother. One of my favorite models is an Nob with Wa banner. He's currently primed. I want to paint him after he's with the regular Nobs. Nice. Nob with Wa banner used to be my favorite orc to kit bash. Because it's just so cool, right? You get yourself a really cool Nob and you'd find a really rad banner. And like stick totems all over it from other armies or something like that was really cool. Robert Jackson, I am a Sons of Fenris, have been for decades. Oh, okay, Space Wolves. All right, Space Wolves are really cool. There is a Space Wolves subfaction, not subfaction. You know what I mean. Right, doesn't work. This is great with medications and pain and all that. But you know what I mean? There's a Space Wolves successor chapter. There we go. that was really, really cool looking. I can't remember what it was called. If it was if it was Sons of Fenris was like the actual name, but it was like a slightly different paint scheme. I really dug that. But no, I like Space Wolves. I think they have some of the coolest stories. The Space Wolf episode of Hammer and Bolter on Warhammer Plus, one of the all-time greats. Fantastic storytelling episode. So yeah, really like Space Wolves. Max, anyone else shocked we didn't get a new Grotsnick alongside the new novel? Oof, that got a mini with Big Daka, so I'm so very confused. Uh, I'm confused on that one too, Max. But again, I think Grotsnick is coming. I think that Games Workshop was not aware of how popular the non-Horus Heresy Black Library books were, and just how quickly the models sell out and how much demand there is for them. So every time they make one, now that it like sells out super fast and people are clamoring for it, I think you're going to see a lot more regular characters coming out with it. And yeah, and to be fair, that was Ufthak's third novel. Like it wasn't the first one. It wasn't the second time we heard from him. It was the third time we heard from them. By then, he was a bona fide, knew he was a success. The printing of the original, um, was it Mordaka was the name of it? No, Brutal Conan. The original Brutal Conan, they ran out of printings multiple times. I think my version is like a fourth printing when you read inside the book. So I mean, it was legit. So they're gonna have to give every novel a novel or two to really see like how the character impacts. But I do think we're gonna be seeing a lot more. That was super duper rad. Boghaven Nobles Blood Bulford. Maybe that's ponies. Maybe that's what I got. Is there a special character player for the Boghaven Nobles? Maybe that's the guy I got. Every orc army needs their version of the Washington Generals, the team that plays the Harlem Globetrotters. Yes. Yes, indeed. That would be super duper cool. I could actually maybe that's what I should do with the Black Templars. I should do a Crimson Fist army and but then use Black Templar rules for it. That we still have the Emperor's Champion. But then like give him a giant fist instead of a giant sword. That could be cool. That could be really cool. Yo, Briars and Bantams, 5 memberships. Bud, thank you. Wog! That is rad. My man. Dude, I super appreciate that. So 5 people just got gifted channel memberships by Briars and Bantams. So everybody give them a wog down in the comments. That is awesome. Deadly Demise for orcs should be no damage, 1 damage, D3 damage, D6. I like that rule, actually, Ashley Kirk. I like that a lot. So you always Deadly Demise, then you roll the D6 on a 1, it peters. On a 2 and 3, you get 1 damage. On a 4 or 5, you get a D3 damage. And on a 6, it's D6 damage. I'm looting that. That's my new house rule. If you play a game against me, that is happening. I bought the definitive edition of Dawn of War just because it actually supports modern resolutions. You know, that's a good point, honestly, because I do have to turn my resolution way down. Granted, remember, I am a real-life orc, and I built my PC over 20 years ago, and I've rebuilt it a bunch of times, but, like, it is still the same parts in there. We are not running the most current version of Windows by a long shot. So it runs great on my computer because it's basically from the same era. But yeah, if I ever got a new computer, it wouldn't work so great. So yeah, I should probably do that. Maybe like my school laptop when I'm done with school, I'll do the definitive edition on it so that it can have a nice resolution. It's a good idea. Let's see. Blissful Badger, hoping to finish building mech guns tonight. Oh, dude, that's been fun. I really need to do that. I don't own mech guns. I don't, which is really surprising. I have owned a kit of them before. I have all 6 of the grots, and I have all of the like gun pieces floating around. But I think it was like I bought the kit and I looted it. I didn't actually build a mech gun, so I need to go like buy the mech gun kit and actually build a mech gun. Is what I need to do. Run a steep discount on Steam if you have your original product. What? You can get a discount on Dawn of War Definitive Edition if you own an OG Dawn of War. All right, hold 1 sec. didn't loot nothing, did you? I don't see nothing missing. Look at this. This is how old school. This is my. So I bought Dawn of War when it came out, and then they had these expansion packs, the Winter Assault and Dark Crusade, that added the other factions, and so I had to buy the whole sling bang when it came out. So this is what I've got. So yeah, it's got Tau, Chaos, Eldar, Imperial Guard, Space Marines, Orcs, and Necrons in it. How cool is that? So yeah, I don't know. Does the definitive edition have all those expansions in it too? Like that would be good to know. See if I can even get this thing out with only one hand. Ow! And then here's just the just the one disc. But yeah, this is my copy, my other copy of Dawn of War. But yeah, I super love this game. Yeah, it had the bonus DVD with playable demos of other games, but I don't think any of them. Maybe they were 40K. I can't remember. So yeah, I'll have to see if there's a product code in here, if I can get, and if not, I'll go find my actual original Dawn of War. 30% off, dude. Okay, I guess I know what I'm doing tonight. For each and every boy. Oh man, I gotta catch up again. You guys are going to town. I really appreciate this. I've been going nuts. You know, I'm supposed to be, working and can't work with all the stuff going on, and you can only sit there for so long before you're just like you need something to do. So being distracted definitely helps a bunch. If you get back into competitive, you're going to return. It'd be cool collab to do tourney prep with Happy Crumpin or WA Tactics. Yeah. So Camden, I've been on WA Tactics before. We did a collab live stream together, right when the Rekka crew came out. In fact, I broke the news on that live stream that the Rekka crew sprue had everything in it to build both Breaka Boys and Tank Bustas, and that both squads would be at 40K. And everyone was like, "What are you talking about?" And then a couple days later, Games Workshop was like, you could build 2 different squads and use them for 40K. But yeah, we are scheduled, and we are still going to do this even though I broke my arm. I'm going to be on WA Tactics again in Orktober. We're going to be doing a live stream. I believe it's the 26th of October. But yeah, I'll be on his channel to do a live stream again. And he's also going to do like an interview or something with me that we're going to post on this channel. So yeah, WA Tactics and I go back a bit. He's super rad. Love working with him. I'm in his Discord all the time. He's in our Discord. But yeah, it'd be super rad to do some tourney prep review with him. I watch Happy Crumpin too. It'd be cool to do something with him. Got my LGS giving me a ton of parts from Space Souls. So I'm going to use them to make some mech ovens to make beast snacks. Nice. That's cool. Yeah, Space Souls get some great bits. Yes, ponies. Crimson Fist and Black Templars are both Imperial Fist successors. That's why that totally works. So yeah, you just Emperor's Champion with a fist. I kind of want to really do that now. Man, it's too bad I didn't get one of those anniversary captains that they just had for the 500th US store. That guy that kind of looked like Pedro Cantor, he had a really rad power fist. I liked him. Yeah, Briar, thank you for the gifted subs, man. That is so rad. Raincoast Bear, hi Big Mac. Been watching, just found on my phone. Old time orc collector, hot take. GW leaving money on the table by not making new casual kid friendly rules. Absolutely. You see that with the proliferation of things like one-page rules, and all of these other places that are doing rule sets on how to play a 40K like game without using Games Workshop rules. And then just other games, period. Like, I mean, even Trench Crusade. Like, these games are coming out because people don't like the current gameplay. We don't want to play a card game with extra steps. We don't want to play a card game / miniature game hybrid. It's like a really fancy board game. It's like a full version of Axis and Allies. I don't know. It's just not what Warhammer has been. Warhammer has traditionally been easy to pick up and then easy to scale to competitive. And now it is not. And so I'm really hoping that they fix that. Oh, you need to own the Steam version of the OG game. I gotcha. Okay, yeah, and Steam did not exist when I bought Dawn of War. The internet came on CD-ROMs in your mail, and you had to unplug your phone, and it went beep, beep, doop, doop, dong, dong, whenever you got on the internet. So, which my kids still don't believe. I tell the Grots the story all the time, and they literally look at me like I'm insane. They're like, no, you didn't. I'm like, for real. They're like, the phone plugged into the wall. I'm like, yes, the phone plugged into the wall. You had a phone cable into your phone, and you had to unplug the phone and plug in your computer, and then the computer would make all these crazy noises. They don't buy it. But I mean, think about it. If you weren't born back then, if you didn't know that, like, it sounds pretty insane. BC, thanks for providing the topic every time I gotta walk away. I appreciate you. We'll make you one of the knobs. No idea if you can register your CD key. Oh, that's a good idea. I'll put my CD key in Steam first and see what that does. The boss is gone. Loot all the stuff. I got so much crap you guys could loot. I probably wouldn't even notice. I mean, the Grots keep taking stuff, and I don't know what they have. The definitive one includes those 2 expansions plus the third one. Wait, there was a third expansion after these 2? After Winter Assault and Dark Crusade, there was another one? Like for the original Dawn of War 1? I didn't know that. Because this is the Platinum. This is supposed to be... Like, this came out when 2 was already out, I want to say. Anyways. Dawn of War physical copies, the one when Winter Assault released. Bought them all again on Steam. Nice. You know, I should probably just buy them again anyway, just to support the developers. Because that's just... It's so cool that they went back and gave that game some love. Bapadap! Hi! Good to see you, bud. Dude, OMG Ponies, thank you, man. That was super kind of you. I really appreciate that. Let me heart that. Bloop. Here's some funding for the game or to pay for those choice. Aw, man. I appreciate that. I appreciate that a bunch, OMG Ponies. So, again, I do work, and I do have health insurance, thankfully. But I do live in the United States, and our health insurance is not the greatest. I broke my arm on Monday. Today is Friday. I just talked to the orthopedist today, and my appointment with them is not until Monday. So it will be an entire week that my arm has been broken before the orthopedic surgeon even sees it. So yeah, that's kind of the way things are here. But yeah, hopefully we get through all this, knock on some wood, with minimal issues and minimal time off of work and things like that, and then we can put all this into really fun orc stuff for the channel, to make the channel awesome and more awesome videos and things like that. But yeah, possibly might just have to pay for a limb. Max, pump for my board deck hoodie. Yes! Okay, you guys have seen the new... Ow! Gonna break my leg. You guys have seen the new Mordaka shirts, right? Ad break. So this design is from Bin Bam. Again, we don't use any AI slop or crap like that on our artwork. It is all done by actual orcs / human beings, Digonobs. We had Velgarn do our channel logo, the little Big Met guy. I did the red squig, and then Bin Bam did our Go Fasta. This design right here, that's Bin Bam. In fact, you can his signature is on every shirt, right? Because supporting real artists is important. I got with Bin Bam, and I was like, hey, I want to do something for Orktober. And so we worked together to do the Orktober logo, right? So there's our Old Big Mac's Orktober 2025, which the Orktober stuff is going to be limited. We're probably going to sell this through the end of this year because it does say 2025 on it. And then we'll work on a new logo for next year, right? But yeah, so we were doing an Orktober thing, and I was like, I want to do a whole new, like, regular shirt thing, like our Go Fasta shirt, but let's do something different. Like, we don't need another one that says the Red Wunz Go Fasta. Like, we should do something. And so we decided to do Mordaka, and he did this absolutely killer design. We went back and forth, finding what I wanted, and it turned out just absolutely killer. And so this is Bin Bam's Mordaka design. And this is the 2D version. So the 2D version, you notice the writing is like all white or off-white. The skin is all green. The pew-pewing is all like this yellowy orange color. But this is really cool, and it works great, especially like on the stickers. If you guys haven't seen yet, we have stickers now. Oh, come on. Where'd it go? There we are. check these out. This is rad. So these go for $9.99, and you get all the logos. So there you got the Red Wunz Go Fasta, you've got the Mordaka, and there you go. That 2D style just works super duper rad. And you can see the cut here around the stickers is super rad. And then this is the one by Velgarn, and then Red Squig that I did. And then we've got the Orktober. When Orktober's over, we'll probably change the stickers. We'll do a different logo down there on the bottom. But yeah, you get all 5 stickers for the $10. But anyways, so the sticker is the 2D logo, and you can buy the 2D logo on the clothing. We did t-shirt, ladies cut, and hoodies. I didn't do grots because grots with DACA things probably a little not good, but you know what I mean. But you can get these, and I did the 2D logos on all the really bright colored stuff. So you can get them in like Bad Moon's yellow, really bright red. There's a really nice like bright blue that works great for Death Skulls, stuff like that. So it's on all the bright stuff. And then there's a 3D version, and this is super cool. So Ben Bam did this, and he was like, hey, because so he also designed it. We haven't released it yet, but he did a version of the logo that is all one color, like how we have the all one color Go Fasta. And then so you could do like some really fun things, like have it be all yellow on a green shirt or something like that. It just makes for a different style, but we haven't released this yet. But so he had originally done the all one color, and then he did the 2D style of full color, and then he was like, you know what? Let me do a full 3D effect, and check out how killer this is. Look at the skin on the orc. You got highlights and shading. Look at the teeth. They've got highlights and shading. The tongue. All the checkers, right? And then the DACA blasts. And then the extra that he did on the writing. This just turned out so stinking cool. And again, we do these in like the more subdued colors. So like a dark maroon instead of a bright red. And again, t-shirt, hoodie, ladies cuts. The 3D version is killer. I love how this turned out. So, yeah, this design is rad. These are perpetual. We're going to have these in the web store forever, just like the Red Squig and the Go Fasta designs. The companies that we have do the printing, it's print on demand stuff. Obviously, I don't have a t-shirt printer in here. But they update their stuff sometimes, like some of the base t-shirt colors come and go. So that would be like the only thing that would change. But the actual artwork will stay. So, you know, don't feel rushed to buy a Mordaka shirt or anything right now. But it is brand new to the website. We just announced it last video. Although people have been buying it all October, as they've like gone to the web store and been like, what is this? Yeah, so that is the difference between the 2D and the 3D. The maroon, I really like the maroon. It works great on this. We also do, I think, a really dark green that looks really good. And then like vintage distressed black or something like that. So yeah, you should definitely check those out. Get yourself some more DACA gear. I will let you guys know, if you go to the web store, which again, the redwunzgofasta.com, it's always linked in all the videos and stuff. If you buy anything that is Orktober, so there's an Orktober hat, or there's the Orktober shirt. I was wearing it in yesterday's video. Which again, the Orktober shirt we made in grot sizes. So you can get Orktober for grots, ladies cuts, regular tees, hoodies. Did we do hoodies? We might not have done hoodies. I don't think we did hoodies, but we definitely did shirts, and then we did the hats. And we've got the logo either like this, where it's a white logo with red writing, or it's the white logo with black writing. So there's two different styles on those too. And yeah, you can get the Orktober shirts in like really bright colors or the subdued colors. The bright, any of the Orktober stuff you buy, if you buy an Orktober shirt, if you put any of the other shirts in your cart, so the Red Squig or the Mordaka or the original Go Fasta, it will take 10% off automatically. So, and that's only through the end of Orktober. So if you did want to like buy more than one thing, it'd be a great time to do it. I just saw in the chat, I'm going to catch back up to everybody, but since I was talking about this and everyone's talking, Daniel asked, what's the word on 4X shirt availability? Most colors have 4X. In fact, most colors even have 5X. So if you're a big dude, I'm a big dude. You get bigger than me, obviously. I'm not a war boss. But yeah, if you are a true war boss, 4X, 5X is available in almost every color in both t-shirt and hoodie. If you don't see it available, just look at one of the other colors. Unfortunately, we are limited to the colors and sizes that the printers can do, but almost everything we've picked has had 4X and 5X available. If there is something you want that the web store doesn't have, whether it's a size or a color or a style, something like that, let me know. Shoot me an email. There's a contact me right there on the web store, or you can just email me direct at oldbigmac@gmail.com, and I will literally make it for you. I had somebody in the Discord went, "Hey, I really want a green Red Squig shirt." And I'm like, "Really? Like, I thought like the Red Squig shirts were only in the navy because like that's the Red Bull color, right?" People were like, "No, we want green." And I was like, "Okay, well, I'll make a green one." So I made a green version, and we literally sold like 8 shirts in 2 days in green because there was this pent up demand for a green version of the Red Squeak shirt. I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah." So if there's anything you guys want, literally let me know. It doesn't, I don't want to say it doesn't say anything. Like it takes work to like design these things and to set them up for the printing and whatnot. But like I am super happy to adjust or do, color, style, size, whatever, um, so that you guys can have them. That's why it's print on demand. That's what's so great about it. So yeah. And the OMG Ponies, I'm in the EU. If I order, will it ship from the EU? Yes. 1000% yes. That's why I went with this particular company. So if you are in the EU and you order from redwunzgofasta.com, it will be manufactured and shipped to you from the EU. You will not have to deal with any crazy US tariff nutter butterness, okay? We have shipped orders to the UK, France, Germany, Belgium, Croatia, Spain. I need to. The Grouts and I've been talking. We want to get a world map for back here and then like highlight all the countries that we've shipped to. That's how crazy cool it's been. We've done well over 100 orders. We're cracking down on 200 very fast. And yeah, like all over the world. So all over the EU, no problem whatsoever. They print on demand. They print and ship right away. In fact, if you've ordered already in Orktober, I think all the way up until the orders from today. So if you ordered like yesterday before, you already have gotten a shipping notification. You've got stuff coming. So yes, OMG Produce. Okay, I know the UK is not in the EU. However, you guys do still have trade agreements that aren't stupid. My country. So they're manufactured in the EU. They're shipped to the UK, but they're done in a way that like you're not paying extra tariffs and stuff for them. In fact, I did 3 orders to the UK in the last 3 days. So no problem there. If you're in the UK, absolutely order it. It's going to come from the EU. You're not going to have crazy tariffs. It tells you all of the costs before you check out. So yeah, really, really, really like this company. We've got nothing but 100% positive feedback about the quality of the stuff, the speed of the shipping, those kind of things. You're from Sweden. I think we've shipped to Sweden before. I could check that. Let me see. Do we ship to Sweden? I could pull it up here while we're talking to you. Any business questions we can answer? Let's see. I've shipped to Finland. So if I can ship to Finland, I'm sure I could ship to Sweden. Let's see. So Finland, US, Canada, UK, Germany, Austria, Poland, Belgium, Norway, Denmark, Netherlands, Portugal, Spain, Czech Republic, Belgium. So, yeah, there you go. All right, that'll do it for our our ad break. All right, I'll go back to everyone's talkies again here. Let's see. Who are the 8 people who haven't hit the like button? Right? Come on, man. Daniel Hammer. Back then, Dawn of War and Fire Warrior got me into Warhammer lore and video games. It wasn't until recently got into tabletop. Dude, Fire Warrior was legit. That game. Okay, so first of all, you guys gotta think. When Tau hit the scene, it was the first all new faction, right? That's what people kind of think. It wasn't. Dark Eldar was, right? Because there was no Dark Eldar before third edition. It didn't exist. So adding factions was something Games Workshop had been doing. Like when second edition came out, it wasn't even, all the factions, right? So new factions out all the time. Anyways, Tau hit the scene, but they were like, how do you integrate Tau into the existing lore? And so it was Tau as this new race that like the Imperium discovered. They were supposed to wipe him out. Whatever happened, administratum, they didn't get wiped out. They came back to finally wipe him out. By then they were this little empire, right? Which is really cool. And so when they initially came out, they weren't weebs. Like everybody really liked Tau. Tau were cool. That insertion of lore was cool. The robots were really cool. Especially at that time, the model kits that we had, the biggest and like craziest model kit at that point was the Land Raider wasn't out yet, so it was the Leman Russ. The Leman Russ was like the biggest, coolest thing. So out of a sudden, you had these like battle suits that were bigger than dreadnoughts, right? They were really, really cool. But Fire Warrior came out, and it was a book and a video game. And the book was actually really good. I have a copy somewhere, first printing. And the video game was awesome. And the whole, if you haven't, you're not familiar with it, if you don't want spoilers, spoiler alert, in Fire Warrior, you are a basic Tau trooper, and you kind of go bananas and like take care of everybody, right? But the thing is that they don't actually finish telling the story all the way up until like a couple of years ago, is that the Tau are getting influenced by chaos, by Khorne specifically. And so it's a Fire Warrior that is like being possessed by Khorne, which is really, really cool. I actually really like that. I know way back in like Rogue Trader second edition era, like there was chaos everything, and that got kind of weird and lame, like chaos orcs. But chaos trying to influence Tau and having it like make them stronger but not actually turn them is kind of rad. So Fire Warrior is legit. Broketober. It is definitely Broketober. I mean, I have my own teeth have just been like crazy. Okay, first of all of this stuff we got to pay for. So like setting up like the hats are they're embroidered. They're 3D embroidered. It's not just like a patch or an iron-on or something lame like that. These are actually really high quality. You have to have them change the artwork into embroidery specific. You've got to approve what's being done with all that. The shirts and stuff, we order samples first to get the samples in and approve the artwork before production. And then every time you order, like we pay for it, and the order ships out, and then when it's delivered, then they like release the funds to pay for it and stuff. So you got to have like a lot of upfront capital. So like there's a lot in that. The channel itself, right? You got cameras, you got lighting, you got rigs. We've started paying for the Discord so that now people can boost the Discord server and put like emojis and all that kind of cool stuff on Discord, plus post like bigger photos and have storage and stuff, which is really rad. Upgrade internet connection, all that kind of stuff. But then just for Orktober, buying things to make the videos, right? So I got the Mac here. We got a bunch of the Saturnines, right? I had to buy those. I got this Necromunda kit, which by the way, if you don't, because I don't know if I'm going to get to this video during Orktober. I really want to, but get in the arm. This is the Zone Mortalis Gang Stronghold from Necromunda. If you go on eBay and you just look up Necromunda Stronghold, there's not that many of these left. The retail on this from G-Dubs is like $150 or something stupid like that. It is insane. It's wild, but it is a huge, huge kit. It's a huge kit, right? And you get all of that. You've got this whole 3-story watchtower. You've got the catwalks everywhere. You've got the little water tank or the gas tank. This kit on eBay is like less than $90 shipped right now. It's all old stock. When it's gone, it's gone. So if you want to pick one of these up, I highly suggest getting on eBay and grabbing one now. Because I guarantee you, if I get to my video, the second the video comes out, they will be gone. And because it is old stock, they'll be all gone forever. So there's your hat tip for Broketober. But again, that's why I'm going to do the Orktober stuff after Orktober. So if you don't get it during Orktober, don't worry. We'll sell these, like I said, probably like through the end of the year. Like you've got till the end of 2025. So I don't want anyone to feel a monetary squeeze. But I did want to get them out in Orktober. So if you wanted to wear Orktober gear while it was still Orktober, you'd be able to do so. All right. Daniel, the anniversary model went fast, and then $180 in pay. Oh, you're talking about the fist guy, right? Yeah, that store anniversary model went super crazy, which sucks. Hat tip for you guys. Um, for those of you that don't know, I subscribe to Warhammer Plus. I subscribed to Warhammer Plus since the day it was announced. Warhammer Plus will pay you to have it. So when you subscribe to Warhammer Plus, and you sign up for the year, not the month to month, for the year. One, it's cheaper. Two, they send you um, like a voucher every year for the web store. Okay, it's been different every year, but they send you a voucher every year. I think it was $30 the first year. It's been $10 every year since. You also get a free commemorative model. The really awesome one this year is this one, this Eldari. It's like a spirit seer or something like that. Pulling the Wraith Stone out of the Wraith Guard or Wraith Lord, which is just sick. This is super rad. But these kits are super duper cool, and people pay as much money as a Warhammer Plus subscription for one of these because you can only get one, and you have to subscribe for the whole year before you get it. And so people that sign up like in August, they don't get to buy this until next August. But because I've been subscribed since day one, I can get this on day one. They make 2 kits every year. You can buy the other kit. In fact, where is he? I thought I had him. What do I do with him? I know I got him. Where did he go? He's here somewhere. Anyways, I don't know where he went, but somewhere around here is the other one because I ordered the other one. But the trick is you order your free one and the other one, and you sell whichever one you don't want, and it pays for the year. Now, some years I haven't liked either one, and I've sold them both, and I've actually made money. Like one year there was the Chaos Terminator. It was admittedly really, really cool. It was the copy of the artwork from that White Dwarf, the really famous cover. It was him and then like a vampire guy from AOS. I sold them both, and it more than paid for the year. But yeah, so I kept both from the first year because again, the first year they gave you $30 in merch. And then I think the first year was like a discounted deal. But yeah, you can get Warhammer to pay you for Warhammer Plus by selling these kits. So if it's something you're interested in, just FYI, thanks to the economics of commemorative models. Flying Motley be very surprised if 11th comes out and doesn't have a game mode like Spirit. Yeah, it's definitely going to. Games Workshop is a lot of things, and they are stupid sometimes, but they are not that stupid when it comes to making money. And Spearhead is absolutely making them money. Again, and you don't have to own Games Workshop stock to like see their annual reports. They're a public company, so they have to publicly report. But you can go read their annual reports from their investor calls, and they talk about the things that sell and the rates that they sell at. And they don't always talk like say what it is, but it's pretty easy to like figure out if you know Games Workshop stuff. So they talked about a new game style, a new like sub game to Age of Sigmar being a sales leader into Age of Sigmar. Obviously that's Spearhead. So the popularity of Spearhead is what raised Age of Sigmar's sales by like 20% last year over year. That's crazy. Those kind of numbers make NBA salivate. So they would be stupid not to do the exact same thing for 40K, which is exactly what they're going to do. So we are definitely getting a Spearhead. Sergey, wow, with snot spittles. I like it. Yeah, Briars, dude, thank you again. That was super rad of you to gift that to 5 people. That was super duper cool. I super appreciate that. Again, anything, everything, you guys just watching totally helps. Liking, talking, subscribing, sharing with somebody. That's the biggest. When creators share YouTube stuff, all the algorithms these days, they clamp down on us. Like if I put something on Facebook, nobody sees it. If I put something on Instagram, nobody sees it. But if one of you guys puts it on Facebook or Instagram or something like that, then it projects it harder. So yeah, sharing is like one of the best things you can do. But yeah, if you guys got any kind of teeth, I appreciate all of it. Soulstorm was it? This one's Soulstorm. Soulstorm. Where'd the? Hold on, I gotta find my thing again. Back to Dawn of War. Does it have Soulstorm in it? No, it doesn't. Oh, okay. What was in Soulstorm? It was a bit like Dark Crusade, but had sisters. Oh, so instead of Necrons, you got sisters. Oh yeah, there is no Sisters of Battle in this one. Well, hot dang. So Definitive Edition has that then? Okay, so now that's a reason to buy it because it'll have a faction that I don't have. Soulstorm is a Tau. Yeah, but Tau is in one of these. Tau is in Winter Assault, isn't it? That's where Tau came in. No, Dark Crusade. Dark Crusade added Tau. See, there, right there. Oh, Dark Eldar. Soulstorm can have Dark Eldar and sisters. Yeah, because Dark Eldar is not in this little set. Yeah, no Dark Eldar. Okay, that'd be cool. Especially being a Dark Eldar player from back in the day. I'm down with that. All right, I gotta pick that up. Quick, someone kit bash Big Mac model with a big old cast. God, right? I showed you guys what model I'm going to paint, right? The first one I'm going to attempt to paint with one hand. Where'd he go? There he is. I think that's only appropriate, right? I mean, it's not an orc, but it's old Baelai. So I'm going to be like old Baelai. I'm going to paint him up. That's going to be the next try. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe tonight. We'll see. We'll see if I'm playing Dawn of War tonight or painting tonight. Mitchell, I remember you saying you'd be making a Death Schools list with all the Everkits and Orthkit stuff. What units would you like to be able to make with that in the future? Ooh, that is a great question. Oh, okay, we're back. So far I've got the Chinork Warcopta, and I've got the knob on Smash a Squig. So clearly I need to do 3 Squig Hog Boys to go with the knob so that is an actual unit. I also need a character, obviously. So those would be the next things that I'd really like to do. That being said, I do have 2 kits currently in my possession. For every kit is an orc kit. I've got one that was donated by a patron, or not a patron, by a Discord member, which I will reveal when I reveal the kit. And then I have another one that is sponsored by Mindtaker. So I do have 2 more kits to go. Neither of those kits is going to result in the units that I need. At least I don't think so. So I need, that being said, the Squig Hog Boys, I've been collecting alternative mounts. I have an old hog from back in the day with Cybors. So I have a hog. To put one on, and then I've got another mount that's like some sort of chaos beastie, so I think I just need a 3rd mount, and I can do the Squig Hog Boys, because I wanted them all to be different. That was like kind of the whole point, is so I didn't want to just go buy a kit that had 3 mounts in it that weren't squigs like that. That wasn't, but I also didn't want to go buy 3 boxes to loot one thing from each box. So I've been buying and trading and stealing bits to get some mounts. So I need those 3 mounts. That'll make the Squig Hog Boys to go with the knob on Smash a Squig. And then, yeah, I need to do some sort of a character. The character is going to be maybe one of the hardest things to do. So, yeah, that's what I like to be able to make in the future. Sisters and Dark Eldar. Okay, so it is Sisters and Dark Eldar. All right, so I got to pick up the Definitive Edition then. Of course, I hope you're resting that arm. Man, I'm trying to. It is more uncomfortable than anything else. So yeah, I was in the U.S. Coast Guard. I was a rescue swimmer. I was medically retired. I've got a giant scar on this elbow from nerve damage, surgery, and stuff that I've had. So like this arm being stuck like this, and the nerve problems I have in here are like adding on to the uncomfortableness of the broken wrist, and it's just yeah, it's not great. So I enjoy having something to take my mind off of it. But yeah, it's, don't recommend. Don't break your arm. Do not do that. Bapadap, just order a green 2D DACA hoodie and stickers. Dude, walk on. Thank you for that, brother. I'll be like, let me know okay, another thing. Everybody that's ordered something, send me pictures. you guys have seen the website. You know that most of the models are like photoshops of stock images, but we do have some photos that are from people that actually bought gear. So like Dirt Hermit is the lead model for the Goes Fasta hoodie, and it looks awesome. It's like it almost looks like a professional photo shoot. It's so cool. And then obviously the Grots are in some of the Grot ones. I'm in some of the ones. If you've bought any of my gear and you don't mind your image being on the website, send me a photo and I will absolutely put you up there and give you credit and everything for it. That would be super duper cool. And then that helps other people see that this is real stuff and how it looks on real people instead of being stock image in Photoshop. So yeah, I would super duper appreciate that. Anybody that bought anything, slap a sticker on something. Send me a picture of the sticker on it. It'd be cool. Buy a water bottle and throw all the stickers on the water bottle. That'd be rad. That does say Orktober. It says Roboctro. Yeah, we talked about this earlier, Raincoast Bear. My camera, which has the little screen on it so I can see what I'm recording, shows me the right orientation. I have YouTube up on my computer right behind the camera, and I'm backwards on YouTube. But it's so weird because everything that I film on the camera and then upload to YouTube as a video comes up correct. I don't know why it's mirrored, and I can't I've been in the settings and I can't get it to not go. Let me see. Options. Let me try again. It might be something that you can only do before you start streaming. But yeah, it's kind of wild that that happens. Is that yeah, I didn't do it. All right, I'm gonna click buttons. It might do something. So if it does something wrong, don't give up. I'll be right back on as I'm clicking these buttons to try to get it to turn around. So let me see. Need to record your reflection in a big mirror. That would be the way to do it. Man, yeah, there is just nothing in here. Yeah, I'm not seeing how you can fix that. So, all right. Rapidat, been dealing with some hospital trips. Oh, dude, I'm so sorry to hear that. Well, hey, at least you got some Orktober videos to catch up on while you are recovering. Someone dry brush that shirt. Yeah, something like that. Where are we at here? I want to see a 3D printed orc with a big cast to beat down enemies with. Nice. Yes, fast Ricky Tube. That would be cool. I would love a 3D printed orc with a big cast for it would be a power cast instead of a power claw. And yes, Raincoast Bear Canada. We have shipped dozens to Canada. Right now, there are certain places in Canada that they won't ship, but it's because of the Canada Post strike going on. So we have a couple of orders that are being held until the strike is over. When the strike is over, they'll deliver again. So it's not a tariff thing and it's not an import thing. It's a Canada Post thing. So if it's not letting you do it or it's like holding the order, that's why it's only Canada Post. Other than that, no, we've sent like over a dozen to Canada at this point. Daniel Herbert, need to find and read that Fire Warrior book. Love the game. Yeah, dude, like I said, I've got the first edition copy around here somewhere. It's a good book. Get your official arm cast. You got some Orclips on it. Yeah, the Grots have drawn all over it. I got lots of stuff from the Grots. But yeah, they need some flames. MG Ponies is my desk one kit. Yes, I did a whole build series on this desk. IKEA is great for this kind of stuff. It's affordable, it's durable, it's really sturdy. So it's You can buy these 2 drawer thingies, and they make all sorts of different sizes of them. But these are the 5 drawers. So there's like 3 medium-sized drawers and 2 skinny drawers. I bought 2 of those, and then an extra long tabletop because I had the room for it. You're supposed to run like a post in the middle. You don't need it. I haven't had it for 3 years, and I'm a big guy. I lean on it, and there's no problems. But yeah, you put the extra long tabletop on it, and it makes a killer desk. And then all the little paint holder thingies in the back are these laser cut MDF board things that you can get. They came out of Poland to hold all the paint. And then the cabinet up there, that is also IKEA. And then in that is actually like a perfect size for like combat patrols and stuff. You see, that's my hidden stock of future models. Plus being able to mount an IKEA light on it to shine down on the painting surface really, really helps. So yeah, IKEA A1 for painting desks. Stink Shop, you want to sell that Spirit Seer? I want to sell the other one. I don't want to sell the Spirit Seer. I've talked about all the different armies that I like and want and have before. I have a few Eldar pieces. I've got one squad that's done that I painted for painting competitions, my Rangers, which grab one. Ugh. I have always loved Craft World Eldari, and when they started coming out with the new models, I fell in love again and really want to do an army of them. So I have a whole squad of these Rangers all done up. Let's see if I can get you the face there in focus. The eyeballs are done too. But yeah, they are super duper rad. So I really want to keep that particular one because this army is my tryhard army. This is my palette cleanser between orcs. I love painting orcs, absolutely love. Because the weathering is a ton of fun to paint. All the little paint chips, all the mud splatters, all that kind of stuff. Painting something to intentionally look sloppy is difficult to do nicely. So like on my Luda tank that I had shown off in yesterday's video, where I had shown that like the grots ran out of paint and just kind of smeared it and stopped. That takes like some serious effort and skill to do, right? But the painting style is very, very different. With Eldar, like having to be so clean and so precise, in a way that like even Beaky's doesn't do, is such a palate cleanser that this is where I get my mojo back when I'm feeling burnt out on orcs. So I've got a small small Eldar collection, and I will be doing an Eldar squad or character or something right after Orktober is done. That'll be my next painting project. So yeah, I am holding on to that Spirit Seer, but good try. I like it. Good effort. Strategy is to buy $1 GW stock for every $1 you buy Warhammer for. All right, I won't lie. So I do own GW stock, not very much, but I do own a couple of shares, and I bought them a long time ago. Like when I bought Speed Freaks, I don't know why, but I was like, I'm just gonna buy some stock in Games Workshop, and I did. And it's worth a lot more now than it was when I bought it. And yeah, it's part of me that's like, oh, I should sell that. There's like capital gains taxes and all that stuff. But yeah, if you actually are the kind of person that buys stocks or owns stocks or wants to keep stocks, it's not a bad one to own. But yeah, it's kind of fun to like be in the earnings calls when they're like happening live. You can actually like you get a link and you can click it and you can like listen to everything going on. I mean, they release like the report at the same time, but it's fun to be in on the call. Anyways, and you don't have to buy a whole share. You can buy partial shares. You guys know how stocks work. You don't need me to explain it. It's boring. Ready to spare. Combat Patrol is supposed to be Spearhead for 40k, but it still had like 80% of the malarkey from 40k. Yeah, Combat Patrol, the game, does not have the best game rules. But like I talked about earlier, part of the problem with Combat Patrol isn't just the game rules. It's that AOS and 40k are fundamentally different. AOS, you don't have vehicles in the way that you have in 40k. And the Spearheads are a little bit bigger, like more units. So trying to get Combat Patrol to work like Spearhead is going to take actual work. I'm confident they'll do it, but I would expect the combat patrols to look very different. I would expect them to look a lot more like these new ones that are coming out that have more units in them, like the new Raven Guard one and the Imperial Fist one and the Iron Hands one. Well, not so much the Iron Hands one; that one's kind of crappy. But the Krieg one, like the Krieg one's got what, 2 full squads of Krieg and a command squad and a heavy weapons unit. It's got 4 units in there now. Like they're starting to come with 4 instead of 3. That's a big deal. Like getting that whole other unit in there makes the game easier to balance. So something to keep in mind. Marco Lindsay, does a miniature exist of the beast? Do you mean it had the whole book series, right? Like War of the Beast or something like that? No, there's no official Games Workshop one. I know there's 3D printed ones that are really cool though. Okay, maybe you can magnetize or tape the model you're painting to your caster. Yes, that's what everyone keeps saying, is that like I need to like tape the model to the cast. The problem is holding my arm up like that actually really hurts. It's supposed to be like in a sling or on a rest. So actually Blissful Badger, who's here in the comments, sent me a DM with instructions on how to like blue tack to like my lamp there, and then you use the lamp to move him around, and it's sturdy enough that like I can paint him, and then you could like manipulate him by moving the lamp head around. So I'm actually going to be copying. I'm going to be doing that with this guy, with Yarick, with Old Bale Eye. So yeah, thanks to Blissful Badger for that one. We're going to give that one a try. I did the suggested tank butt stick. Okay, so D. Crombie, Meganob Kip Ashes. I did a whole video on Meganob Kip Ashes as well. I had 2 really good options for those. One was the monopose Terminators from the Leviathan box, which are also the ones that are in the Space Marine Combat Patrol and the ones that are in like the current starter sets, introductory starter sets. They're really cheap secondhand online. People that break up the boxes, they sell those monopose Terminators for dirt cheap. They are perfect for Meganobs. They're the right height, they're the right kind of squarishness, and Terminators with having the heads down in the chest matches orcs. So you just put an orc head in there. Really easy. My suggestion was you buy a box of Meganobs. You get 3 Meganob bodies, but you get enough parts to build 6 Meganobs as far as weapons go, and 2 big mechs in mega armor. So you've got plenty of parts left over to kit out 5 more guys. And so you can get 1 squad of those Terminators, those push fit Terminators, use all the leftover parts from the Meganobs kit, and you can actually end up with 8 Meganobs. 2 would be big mechs and mega armor. But yeah, you'd have 2 big mechs and mega armor and 6 Meganobs. Plus, the original knobs in mega armor were in Terminator armor. That's where the whole impetus for our Saturnine came from, because that was the original artwork. That was the original actual metal models, was Terminator armor just with an orc inside of it. So it totally works. The other thing I had was using the Tau Crisis battle suits. The Crisis battle suits are actually nearly identical in size to the Meganobs, and they're very square and chunky like the Meganobs. So if you actually like the square and chunky, using those is a good hit. Plus, there's 3 of them in a box. The other suggestions I had were the robots from Necromunda. There's 2 in a box to those. Those are especially good for your characters. I really recommend, like, if you want an alternative Warboss Mega Armor and an alternative Big Mech and Mega Armor, those are the bodies to use for them. But yeah, lots and lots of options for Meganobs. And then also the new Saturnines, although the Saturnines are bigger. They're a lot bigger, but they are wicked cool. And bigger, remember, bigger is not modeling for advantage. Modeling for advantage is smaller, because smaller is easier to hide, and Warhammer is a true line of sight game. So if you model something bigger, it is a lot easier to hit. So you never get in trouble for bigger. Daniel Caston, I have an old Start Collecting. Oh man, the Start Collecting Orc box was legit. It had the Death Dread in it, and it had, 20 boys, and the Pain Boy, and something else. I forget what something else was. Help me out here, guys. I know there was 4 units in it. But yeah, the OG Start Collecting Orcs box was a good one. In fact, back when the very first Combat Patrol came out and they were still selling Start Collecting, one of my very early videos was suggesting, hey, go buy the Start Collecting box too. You combine it with the Combat Patrol, you've got a really excellent army because you end up with like 40 boys, 2 Death Dreads, the War Boss, the Pain. Like it was a legit army out the box. Stink Shop, all good, but yeah, Eldar. Yeah, I like Eldar, especially Craft World Eldar. Don't get me wrong, like Dark Eldar are cool. I mean, obviously I was a Dark Eldar player back in the day. I really like the aesthetics of the new Drukhari. I think they took that army in an excellent direction. I like the Corsairs and the pirates and stuff like that, and I the Harlequins are all right. Um, but for me, it's all Craft World. I like Craft World. So my ideal army, I'm gonna have one squad of each of the Aspect Warriors. I'm gonna have all the different Phoenix Lords. I'm gonna do like a squad of Guardians, a squad of Black Guardians. I'm gonna have Wraith Lord, Wraith Guard, Wraith Knight. Oh, no, hold on. It's Wraith. There's like the Wraith Blades. There we go. Wraith Guard are the one with the guns. Wraith Blades are the ones with the axes. And then Wraith Lord is the like Terminator one. Wraith Knight is the actual like Knight. Or maybe it's Wraith Knight is the other one. Wraith Lord is the big one. Whatever the big one is, I'm not going to do. I have one, but that's another story. But yeah, and then do like Spirit Seer. I want to do like a conclave of the Warlocks, but just kind of like a one of everything. So like this is my one Ranger squad. I don't need any more Ranger squads. So yeah, it's just kind of like a one of everything. Put it out on the battlefield, see what it looks like. But again, it's my try-hard army. Every single model I do for that army enters painting competitions to win. So, let's see. I think you need to buy the Harlequin Combat Patrol to learn how to paint and outside play. Again, I heartily recommend it. I talked about this in a bunch of videos. It doesn't matter what you paint, what your army is, even what game you play. Having a palette cleanser that is something that is the opposite helps you stay motivated. So if you are big into playing 40K competitively, you need to play a different game every once in a while just to like break it up. If you paint orcs all the time, you need to have something that is a completely different paint scheme to like cleanse those painting things. If you are crazy kit basher that like does all sorts of wacky things, you should build something that builds cleaner, just to get that different skill set and cleanse the palette of it. So yeah, Harlequins would be amazingly good to be opposite of orcs. Daniel wants to know if I would do an any kit series on AOS Seraphon. Meaning you want me to make a Seraphon and do an orc kit for any kit as an orc kit? Oh, you've got the Start Collecting box for AOS Seraphon. Okay, bet. You send it to the channel. I'll build it. I will do it. oldbigmac@gmail.com. Send me a message. Bapadap. Love Dawn of War. Started playing a couple years ago when all the editions went on sale for like $3 on Steam. Picked up a definitive edition as soon as the song was out. Nice. If you get it, I join it. Oh yeah, that's right, because we could play like multiplayer together, right? Okay, I'm doing it. Old Big Mac's saying right now, I am going to buy the definitive edition, Dawn of War, and then we can set up some live game time because I got time to kill. So, well, I don't know how good I'm going to be on the keyboard right now, but we can play. Because I did do, I've done some playing on Speed Freaks with some of you guys. That's been a lot of fun. OMG Ponies says, Iron Hands ain't crappy. The turret's prime loot material. Yeah. The Iron Hands kit is excellent for an orc player. It is not excellent for a Space Marine player. That is the difference. OMG ITS TJ, been playing orcs for a couple months. Really enjoy painting them. Have to send you Mazrak scrag bag. Oh yeah, dude, I want to see that. So in my painting pile for Orktober, I have my Mazrak. I've done my Beast Boss and Squigosaur. I have not painted Mazrak yet. I mean, it's not that I dislike the factory paint scheme. I think it's pretty cool, but I haven't like found any paint scheme online yet that makes me like, ooh, like really inspired. So I really want to see that. So if you could throw that up on the Discord, I would super love that. You're my favorite orc YouTuber. Thank you. I appreciate that. I try really hard over here. MG Ponies, using Tau Battlesuit isn't as good since they aren't a discount box, except the upcoming Christmas Battle Force. Yeah, so back when I did that video, The Tau battle suits had been in the old Combat Patrol and the Start Collecting box, and they were in like two Christmas Battle Forces in a row and the Apocalypse box, and so they were stupid cheap on eBay. You could get a set of three of them for like 50% of retail or something like that. That has since changed, especially now that competitively you want Crisis Battlesuit spam for Tau. Back then they were terrible, and so nobody wanted to play them. Unfortunately, the kits do that kind of thing. There was a time where, first of all, the only way you could get Def Coptas was the Assault on Blackreach, which was the 5th edition starter set. It was the only way that they made them. They never were sold on their own. And so before they had redone them for the new Combat Patrol for ninth, was it 8th? Ninth. I think it was ninth. Before they had redone the Def Coptas, and you could only get them in that really ancient starter set, they were going for like $100 each Copta on eBay for like a year and a half, because in the meta competitively, Def Coptas were insane. They were so overpoweredly good with how they could drop in behind enemy lines and the kind of damage that they did. And so people were like literally paying through their teeth for these things. And then the new edition came out and they changed the rules, and also they released them in the Combat Patrol, and the prices dropped to nothing. And now those old Def Copters like literally pick them up for scrap and use them to make war bikers, right? Like it's just so funny how models do that. So yeah, unfortunately, Crisis suits kind of had the opposite of that. There was a long period of time, there were years that Crisis suits were super cheap because they were in every box and they weren't very good, and so people kind of got rid of them. Plus, you could, the way the data sheets worked, you could only run like 6 or 9 of them or something like that, and now you can run like 18 of them because they split the data sheets into a couple of data sheets, and so now they're really popular again, and now they're money again. Yeah, something to know. Let's see. BC, it had knobs. Knobs, that's it. Yes, the old Orc Start Collecting had knobs in it. Good websites for used minis besides eBay. Honestly, so eBay is the best as far as like just being able to find it. Mindtaker, our friendly local game store, has fantastic selection when it comes in, but I mean, stuff comes in and goes out so fast that unless you're like on it or get lucky, plus, it is one store. It's not like eBay where you're looking at a worldwide inventory simultaneously. There are multiple Facebook trading groups. I hate Facebook. I'm not on Facebook, but I've seen the groups. The groups can be good. People doing that kind of stuff. I've seen some Discord servers that do it. We have a swap shop in our Discord server, which in fact it got expanded today, guys. I don't know if you've noticed. So now we have multiple categories in the swap shop. So there's the swap shop for all your Warhammer stuff. That's people buy, sell, trade Warhammer. There is a feedback forum. So if you've had a good buy, sell, trade experience with somebody, you could post in there that, hey, I traded with Bapadap or whoever, and they were good dudes. So it like gives you a way to look at people's reputation. There is a new section for friendly local game stores. So that's where you'll see like the Mindtaker stuff when they get cool orc stuff in. Or any other kind of game store doing things, as well as like if any of you guys, I know some of you guys do like 3D printing services or 3D designing. If you guys are selling STLs or things like that, you can put them all in that like kind of storefront area. And then the fourth one, we got a new one that is swap everything else. So if you like had model cars or planes or watches or guitars, or I don't even care, whole cars. Dirt Hermit, for example, just got an actual buggy, so hopefully he'll sell it on there and I can buy it from him because that would be rad. I could drive around town in the buggy until I crash and break my other arm. But yeah, so then there's a swap section for something else. But yeah, so there's lots of places to look around, but honestly, eBay, it's so established and it's so worldwide. It makes it super easy to see and to do and to get parts from eBay. So I'd start with eBay, honestly. Only 11 boys in the box. Yeah, that's right, because it was the old boys. So, but that was the thing is you got the Combat Patrol, which was the old Combat Patrol, but then was the new Combat Patrol, and it had the 20 Monopose boys that sucked. But with the 11 old school boys in the Start Collecting box, that allowed you to actually build like 2 squads of 10 Slugga Choppas and then a squad of 10 Shooters. and go from there. So yeah, those two boxes really did synergize great. Unfortunately, they are both long gone. Let's see. Mitchell, looting an armor for Death Tread. What loadout should I run? Okay, so Death Tread, loadouts come and go. Lots of people magnetize. My personal Death Dreads, I've got two that are 3 Power Claw plus Scorcha, because it doesn't make sense to put any kind of guns on a Death Dread because the shooting sucks. That being said, there's an argument these days for like 4 custom Mega Blastas on a Death Dread, and you run a little mech next to him because he gives him a +1 to hit. And then there's also like some detachment rules that can help out with shooting. So I could see doing a 4 KMB one. I wouldn't bother with any of the other like rocket launches. Just start strong enough. There's plenty of other ways to get rocket launches in the game, or in the army. Big shooters aren't going to do anything. And I know that like 3 claws isn't as good as it used to be, but it's still 3 claws. But I like to run the Scorcha for Overwatch because people like charging Death Dreads because they're kind of slow. And so if you get charged, being able to auto hit is very useful. And also people like to try to load a bunch of chaff in front of you. And so it's kind of like their version of Rats. And so a Scorcha kind of gets rid of those pretty easily. So yeah, so for me, 3 claws and a Scorcha, maybe 2 claws, 2 Scorches. But if you're going to do weapons, like ranged weapons, I would do 3 or 4, more than likely 4. And then run it with a mech. Let's see. Reddit mini swap and mind taking miniatures. Yes, yeah, that's right. Oh, Reddit. Yes, Reddit has a mini swap subreddit that is really good too. Although that's not usually. I don't see a lot of like built things on there. I see a lot more like nuanced sprue people trading things. But you do see a lot. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, that's a good one too. I need to be on there more. I'm not on there enough. Dawn of War private lobbies 1v1, 2v2, 6v6. Yeah, I don't. So back when Dawn of War came out, I was again in the Coast Guard. I was overseas and stuff. We didn't have internet connection. But yeah, I do remember private lobbies being a thing at some point. Actually, Love My Orcs started 8th. It was with Tau that started Orcs as a secret army for my WhatsApp Warhammer group. They took over big time. Haha, that's cool. 4X KMB is the most fun one. Yep, 4X KMB, like it's got a purpose. I have 4 Death Dreads. I've got 2 that are still unbuilt. I was considering building one as a 4 KMB just to have one to switch out and try. I might still do that. Actually, I'm now starting a Silver Skulls army to use the beaky I've picked up from the Starter Boxes. Ooh, okay. Rewind a bit. I was asked about my favorite beakies earlier, and also my own beaky army. I really like Silver Skulls paint job. I've painted quite a few beakies, especially with the grots, because you can pick up beakies super cheap or free. The free menu when you walk into a Warhammer store is often just a Space Marine. And so they've painted all the different paint schemes. One of them painted Silver Skulls, and it looked really cool. And so I tried it, and I painted a Silver Skull. And it painted fast, and it painted fun, and it looked really good when it was done. And so part of me kind of wants to do my army of Silver Skulls, just because I think it would be easy to paint the whole army, and it would look really, really good on the tabletop. Except for Silver Skulls being these, like, metallic guys with a sneaky army. Doesn't make a lot of sense. But, yeah, I don't know. I like Silver Skulls, though. That's really cool. Sergey, I used the old Metal Gazgul for my Big Mech makeover. Oh, I need him. If anybody has the 3rd edition Metal Gazgul, it's not the OG Metal Gazgul, the one that I gave away in the with Makari in the Heavy Metal contest. The one that came out with Codex Armageddon. The one that is a chunk. I think weighs like 3 pounds. He's got the power claw that's down. He's got like this walk. I need him. I do not have him. He is my #1 most wanted orc unit. Orc figure, orc anything, period. So, if anybody has a Gaz, unbuilt, that they want to sell or trade, my DMs are open. Chorus, has anyone asked how you broke my arm? Yes, you've asked if I broke my arm. You can rewind and watch. I was running with one of my grots and tripped and fell. Broke attempting to catch kill saw, yes. I was in a fight with a dreadnought. Fighting Jakata Khan. All of the above. Fight with a war boss. Yes. Yeah, I know. I know. I need to come up with a better story. Having just one claw with the Death Dread supercharges its combat. Yeah, so ponies, that was the one thing, is if you put even just one claw on a Death Dread, it is deadly in close combat. It's going to keep people from wanting to charge it. Whereas if you have the 4 custom Mega Blastas, if somebody charges it, like, you might be done for. That being said, nobody should be getting that close to it in the first place. But yeah, 3 KMBs and 1 claw is probably a good setup, just like the 3 claws with the 1 scorch is a good setup. It's okay to swap out one thing for something else just to like keep people honest, right? Like, you don't want to take an army that's entirely DACA and no close combat, or entirely close combat and no DACA. You got to have a little bit of the other thing, just to keep people on their toes. So yeah, those would be my options. 3 claws and a Scorcha, or 3 KMBs and 1 claw. All right, let's see. Where are we at here? YouTube is yelling at me because we just went over 3 hours. They don't like having things longer than 3 hours. That's wild. Okay. Refuse to magnetize anything smaller than a large battle suit or knight. Just build a lot. You can school plate what you got. Yeah, Andrew, I agree with that. The my Imperial Guard, I magnetized a Sentinel to start with, and that was ridiculous. Like, it's so dumb. So there's no point in magnetizing anything unless it's huge. You just build another one. Just build another one. It's fine. Just build another one. Spend so much money on magnets, and you lose the pieces. It's ridiculous. Let's see. DM a game, Curse of Strahd, all the minis for that, my palette cleanser. Oh yeah, I mean, I've talked about that too. Like, have your palette cleanser be not even Warhammer minis. You guys know I paint, build and paint scale models. That is definitely my main palette cleanser in between Warhammer stuff. I sprayed him already more than halfway there. Yep. Let's just oh. Oh. All right, guys, I have been chatting at you for 3 hours now. I am way overdue on taking my medications. I think I'm out of Red Squig in my water bottle. But it's been super fun hanging out with everybody. Thanks for taking my mind off of my arm for 3 hours. Super appreciate that. I am going to keep working on some videos and stuff. We'll use this as the video for today. I think this was plenty good for today. And then, yeah, we'll see about hitting up an Orktober video again tomorrow. I'm still trying. Like I said, my next thing is going to be to try to paint one-handed. I'm going to sticky tack old bale eye here to the light and see how that works. And yeah, go from there. But yeah, it's been super fun hanging out with everybody. The chat has been amazing and awesome. We talked about a million different things, which is super fun. You guys that donated, and especially like donating channel memberships, was super rad. We'll have to do this some more because that was a lot of fun. And yeah, being able to like talk about something and I could just literally go grab the model and show you right here is super duper rad. I know people say don't stress about the daily videos. It's a two-part thing. I like doing what I say. Like I said, I was going to do a video every day, so like my internal thing is to push to do it anyway. And also just it does help me take my mind off of it, because if I'm doing something, I don't really feel the arm or think about it. And so like it passes the time a lot faster. But if I'm just sitting there, that's when like all of a sudden like it really hurts. It's really uncomfortable, and it's like, oh man. And then just kind of like stuck in it. It's hard to get the pain to go away. Tried to work a little bit. I worked like a half day. Hopefully you're gonna work some more next week. We'll see how all that goes. But that's a little harder because you're like, it's work, doing work things. But yeah, I'm gonna keep working on the videos. Try and do the videos. Just to have something to do. Get my mind off of it. But yeah, super awesome stream. Thank you so much, everybody. A month-long Orktober stream. All right, that's our goal for 2030. Orktober 2031. We're gonna do 31 days for the year 31, and I'm just constant live. I will never turn the camera off all month long. So I'll see you in 6 years. We'll try it. And yes, Ashley, new house rule for Deadly Demise. Super loot in that one. I suggest everybody else loots that one too, because Deadly Demise works is super fun, but having it be like variable is rad. All right. Yes, Stompa instructions. Look, if you can't figure out how to build Stomp on your own, are you really a big mech? Come on. That includes like building it upside down, inside out. Who cares? It's Stompa. As long as it's vaguely Stompa shaped, sized at the end, you're good. We're Scout Cast past 5, so what's with this 31 business? It's not 31, it's 1. We would do 1 live stream. We just would never turn it off. Be good. All right, guys. Super fun hanging out with all of you today. Really appreciate it. I'm gonna go take my medicine and all that jazz. See about downloading Dawn of War, and maybe I'll see you guys on there tonight. And yeah, BC will have to stay on all 31 days to run the topics for discussion every time I got to step away. I like it. You're on, BC. All right. That's going to do it for this one, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you for all the merch buys. Thank you for all the love, all the support. You guys are amazing. Super appreciate each and every one of you. We'll catch you in the next one. Until then, walk on!